need you. Ooh, I love you, love you. I do need you, need you. I do, I love you, I do need you. I love you, love you. I do need you. Ooh, I love you, I do need you.
Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start it, yeah. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start it.
Why we've been separate ways, feeling all alone in your company, keeping you captive with your chains.
We're night and day, solar eclipses. Too afraid to look, too scared to miss it. We're night and day, solar eclipses. End up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start it, yeah. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start it, yeah. Tomorrow we build, depends on the future we want, we can make it as real. Maybe we will, though, give up the ego. Making it feel good. Too scared to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go. Tomorrow we build, depends on the future we want, we can make it as real. Maybe we will, though, give up the ego. Making it feel good. Too scared to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start it, yeah. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start it, yeah. Start it, yeah. We can start it.
dancing in their line, past that we could never run. Oh, they were dancing way up high. Stars were dancing in their line. Future we will never run. Dirt on our feet was bone dry. It was bone dry. Thought another goal is all we needed. Taking second chances till we bleed. And when all love had been depleted, we had but no choice to concede. As the stars were dancing in their line, past that we could never run. Oh, they were dancing way up high. Stars were dancing in their line. Future we will never run. Dirt on our feet was bone dry. It was bone dry.
Go on, myself. I'm cold, steel stainless. My glass half full. Always said, don't suffer no fools. Serpents, daydream. I bite, you call me lovely. Got a sweet tooth. Gonna get the sugar from you. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. wanna feel your touch like ice, tracing all my scars. Why is it hurt on the inside? It's unforgivable, but I forgive you every time. Hard to let it go, 'cause we're intertwined. I break you, you break me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Europe. Not literally, I'm here in Atlanta. Subi's over there in California. And shout out to the man from B-More. That's going to be Spaceman Sean Rogers. Both of you look fantastic. How you doing today, Subi?
I'm doing pretty well, all things considered. It's one of those bittersweet days where, yeah, we get to find out who's going to the promotion tournament, who's going to auto-qualify for RLCS, but that's the end of the season. So, I mean, while it's a beautiful thing, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. You know, I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the action. Spaceman, it's been a week. How's things?
It's good, man. It is a bittersweet day. I agree with Subi, but I'm excited, man. It's the end of the season. A lot of things can shake up today. I think we're going to have fun.
I'm fine with being an executioner. Let's take a look at the standings and see who's going to stay and who's going to go. Up on top of Europe, we've seen RCD Espanyol sit there for so long, but last week, Team BDS really came by. They're tied 7-1, of course, on the win-loss, but behind the scenes, you've got your game differential. That's going to be very important. We'll touch more on that when we get to the teams in the middle, because that's going to be a mess here. Down at the bottom, unfortunately, Baguette Squad and Servette Geneva Esports. We knew ye well, but we will see you in the play-ins. So an interesting look for our teams here so far. Let's start with Team BDS, the guys up on top. I mean, this was an interesting look to see somebody take it away from RCG, Subi.
Yeah, and this is a team that I had very high expectations for coming into the season, and I've got to say that they've lived up to those. I mean, there were some sketchy moments for sure, but at the end of the day, they put themselves at 7-1, and on the back of Monkey Moon. I think he has come out at the end of the season as the #1 player in all of Europe. He's been my favorite, and I can root for him today because I don't have that matchup. So it's going to be a fun one to watch. I can't wait to see what happens between them and Triple Trouble.
You've been on this Monkey Moon train since minute one, and you were right. So let's talk to you about it. What initially really spoke to you about Monkey Moon and this team, and what made you say, like, all right, they're going to do it?
For me, it had to be the speed of Monkey Moon and just the ability to make decisions on the fly. You could see how quickly he was able to do those, and he's in the air moments before the defensive player is able to even to react to those angles. And because of that, it sets up his teammates perfectly. He wins 50-50s. He sets up passing plays, and he hits those double taps that are just impossible to read. And as a defender, you're just crossing your fingers, hoping you can get a touch on the ball. And somehow he's able to just put them in the smallest little windows. He's just been a fantastic player to watch. We've gotten to watch him for a few seasons now. And I hate to say it, I hate to be biased, but I hope that he gets into RLCS today, and I hope we can say it was fun watching you while we got to.
No, I'm here for that. You're a veteran of the Rival Series, and I've done, this is my first season with the Rival Series. It's been fantastic, but I've done other games, and when you're sitting there at the Rival level, the minor league level, you get to see these shining stars. And Monkey Moon and Team BDS have put themselves in position to keep #1. If they win today, they are guaranteed #1. And obviously, you want to be #1 just for the bragging rights. But here's what the players are playing for. If you're just joining us in the latter days of our Rival Series tournament, the #1 team will automatically make their way up into the Pro League. And the #10 team from the Pro League, the RLCS, will, well, come down here and hang out with us. We'll see if they remake or otherwise. Number 2 and 3, equally as important, because although they don't automatically punch their ticket, they got a shot to fight for it. 2 and 3 in the rival series will play against numbers 8 and 9 in the RLCS. And should they win, they also ascend to the RLCS. Now, if you're not in the top 3, there still is something to fight for. 4, 5, and 6 are safe, baby. Feet up, hands in pockets, not a problem. And then if you have to land in 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th, you do have to requalify. So that's relegation, and that'll be tough. Not empty-handed, though. You do take home some money. $5,000 for 7th place, all the way down to 10th place, grabbing $2,000 themselves as well. So, Spaceman, we've seen an exciting season, a lot of ups and downs. I think RCD Espanyol is the only team that has really dug their feet in and stuck to one spot, and even they got usurped by Team BDS. I mean, this has been a tumultuous season. Usually I give you a direction. Here I'm going to give you the floor. Spaceman, what was your most exciting storyline here of our rival series?
I think this is pretty cliche because we talked about We Dem Girlz, and me and Subi had the fortune of casting them in the first 3 or 4 weeks. But I thought the most exciting part was waiting for the Tower of RCD to meet its match in BDS. Like that was kind of the staple. They had been 6-0, and it was the whole season was kind of building to this great crescendo. And then here comes BDS, fastest team in Europe, against RCD, which had done no wrong. And last week we saw the finale of that, right? Like it was a 3-0, but it was a great 3-0 series. And I was just surprised at how dominant those teams came to be. Like RCD, yes, they were 6-0, but it was kind of like a quiet 6-0. They weren't like they weren't taking down powerhouses. They were just, week by week winning their matches, and all of a sudden we're like, oh crap, they're number 1. Who's going to go against them? And then BDS comes in, and now both of those teams control their destiny today. I was really happy with how the European scene played out.
Well, BDS and RCD Espanyol played a couple of weeks earlier. Let's take a look at the games that are going to be played today on the docket for Europe. We got Servette Geneva Esports. They're going to be starting things off versus Notorious Legion. This one is a nice appetizer because these guys are going to be fighting over prize money. Their spots are locked in place, but don't worry, the drama goes up. Baguette Squad versus RCD Espanyol. Baguette Squad can cause a huge upset. I'm just going to leave it at that. RJM versus We Dem Girlz. This one a little bit more rough and tumble. Short and sweet. Winner in, loser out as far as staying here or having to requalify. And then, of course, Team BDS versus Triple Trouble. This is the big one. If Team BDS wins this one, first and foremost, I know Subi will be happy, but Monkey Moon guarantees him and his 2 teammates a position at number 1, which guarantees them a position in the RLCS. So it's very interesting the way our schedule ramps up to the action. You're not going to want to miss a single game here, guys. Servette Geneva versus Notorious Legion, again, is how we're going to start things off. And like I said, this is a nice appetizer. We're warming up. We're getting ready here. Servette Geneva, not very successful this season. 1-7 across the way. NLE, 4-4. These guys have struggled, but found wins when they needed to. Subi, you're kind of making the eesh face. Talk to me about this matchup.
Well, Servette Geneva came in as an all-rookie squad, and I think they learned very quickly what the rival series was all about. It's not just another day at the office. It is a grind all season long, and you better bring your peak performance every single week because any number of these teams can take you down, and they show that with their record of 1-7, but they get some good experience. So hopefully they learn from this and they're able to make it through the play-ins once again next season. But I was impressed with Notorious Legion. I know that they're sitting at 4-4. They're sitting at 5th place, so we will see them again next season. But we saw them last season, and they finished in last place. They were Team Echo Zulu, and they picked up this rookie, Cash, and he has been absolute money. He has carried this team, and I think because of that pickup, that's what stuck them this season right in the middle of the pack, and they're going to be able to build on this going into next season, and hopefully they can find themselves at 1, 2, or 3 to go into that promotion tournament to try and fight for their way into RLCS. But I think they've gotten some good footing this season to see what it really takes to be competitive in the Rocket League ecosystem.
Well, that's what the trend says, going up. You mentioned Cash, the rookie coming in. Let's take a look at the other 5 players taking the pitch for our first match. Servette Geneva Esport going to be ripped by Zafir, Mirror, and Yagi. And Notorious Legion Esport will come through with Batain and Taz next to Cash. Now, earlier in the year, you had already talked highly about Cash. Here you're talking highly about Cash. And, as you said, last season, bottom of the pack. This season, at number 5. They can go up or down, but their tier remains the same, right? We have our top 3 that want to contend for moving up, our middle pack that want to stick and stay safe, and then our bottom 4, which will have to, unfortunately, requalify. So with that in mind, looking across the way at Servette Geneva, they want to move up to make some money. They still have to requalify, but this is the last time they get to practice on the big stage. Anybody that has ever played any competitive game ever will tell you how scrims don't always represent the same competitive atmosphere. And so that can be a little bit different. Spaceman, talk to me about what you want to see out of SGE today.
I want to see more physicality from them. Like Notorious Legion level of in-net defense that we were expecting from them, and they've delivered. But Servette sitting at 1-7, your season's basically done. Yes, your placings you're gonna have to come back in the play-ins, but you want to end on a high note, no question. And you want to earn more money. Who doesn't? I think they need to play a little bit more physical. Like Mirrorwing was the last returning player from last season, and then he picks up 2 new guys, and they don't really have a great showing, right? 1-7, possibly 1-8 if predictions go right. But honestly, just have fun, man. It's the last week. You're playing for some extra money. It's like you said, scrims don't always tell the full picture, but at the end of the day, if you can cause an upset and go out there and just play your game, do it. You got really nothing to lose. I would like to just see them have some fun on the field. Don't put too much pressure on yourselves. It's the end of the season. Just have fun.
Well, the conversation there, we'll move into prediction mode, and I will ask you straight up, Subi, who's taking this?
Straight up, it's going to be Notorious Legion. I don't see much that Servette Geneva is going to be able to do to take them down, other than maybe slow up Cash. That has to be the game plan coming into this one because he's been on fire. He's 7th in the league, I believe, this season as far as goals per game. So if you can slow him down, you'll have a chance, but it's going to be tough for Servette Geneva to find a win in this one.
Got to agree there. I'll shift over to Spaceman. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Notorious Legion as well. The key for Servette to win this series would be to knock down the passing patterns that Notorious has figured out in the latter half of the season. But I think that's too high. I think that's too much of a mountain to climb. And at this point in the season, with everyone's personality being the driving factor for these teams, I see Notorious taking it.
I'm going to agree with my co-commentators here. I think you guys are absolutely right, and Spaceman just chef's kiss to that, because that's exactly what I wanted to mention. The passing. Cash is number 7 in scoring in the league, but Batain and Taz have repeatedly set him up, and it's been a team-wide strategy. Me being newer to the game, that's something I've actually been able to watch and identify. Seeing Notorious Legion Esport start week number 1 and just kind of play randoms and then gradually find themselves becoming a team is very important. That's what we'd like to see in this league, and I think it's worked out for them. So all across the board, Notorious Legion Esport seems to be the way that we think. I think the chat might think as well. Servette Geneva kind of struggling here. You mentioned put down Cash. Spaceman mentioned getting in between the passing regiment. We'll see which is the key in order to win the game, or if the predictions are correct, a Notorious Legion take it. Either way, they're going to take the pitch. They're going to be up against Servette Geneva Esport. You guys can have the call.
Subi, it's the final week of Rivals, and it's been a really good season, man. I didn't expect it to be as exciting as it's been. I think that compared to years prior, of course, I am just a rookie here, but I think it's lived up to some of the expectations we had in the beginning of the season. How are you feeling about how things have shaken out both in Europe and North America?
I think it's been kind of what we expected, and I've said it so much this season, and that is to expect the unexpected, because you can't come into the season expecting, okay, I'm going to know who's going to get number 1, and I know who's going to get number 10, and everybody in between. It's just not realistic. For me, I guess I'll just call it luck that I guess that Team BDS was going to be first place at the end of the season, because it could have went any other way. There's so many good teams in this league. When you look at pretty much 1 through 7, any one of those teams could have taken number 1, but it was just the consistency that I was most impressed with from Team BDS week in and week out, just continually playing just in peak form. And just to answer your question, like this season has brought so much clip-worthy highlight reel goals, been some ups and downs, some juicy storylines, and I guess it's just been one of those seasons that's been special. We got new commentators in, we got new host in, and just to take a moment away from the game real quick, like this has been a special season, like all of us becoming great friends, and then stuff going on around the world with COVID-19. Now we're working from our houses and still going on. Like I think it just goes to show you, like Rocket League is here to stay, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it, that we get to go along for this ride and this journey, and we get to see what these players are going to develop into one day. We got to see in season 1 this player come into the scene, and he won the world championship last season. That was Justin. Like, what's going to be the future for these players coming in today? It's just a cool thing to watch.
It is, and I think it's cool that you never know, like you never know what 2 weeks will do. I think that's kind of the rule of either teams, if you want to talk about performances. Like we've seen teams flip the script in 2 weeks and completely rewrite their season. I mean, even just in general, you talk about Justin, of course, being now a world champion. Like you and I, we were discussing this, right? Like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we were in the middle of rivals, and all of a sudden the world kind of goes on its head, and now we're at home, but we're able to continue Rocket League, which was a blessing. And that's one of the beauties of this game, is that you can do it from anywhere, and it gives us the opportunity to continue to do what we love. But you never know what 2 weeks will bring, and I think that's what some of these players need to take into account, especially if you're at the bottom of the pack and you're wondering, what does my future look like? Where am I going to sit when I have to come back in for plans? You never know what time can do. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Continue to try to evolve, make yourself a better player, a better person. At the end of the day, just have fun. You're playing a video game, you're playing Rocket League, you get to do it for hopefully some money. And at the end of the day, it is a competition, but you want to make sure you're having fun. And that's what it's all about. So I think that we've had a great season. I think that the playoffs in 2 weeks are going to be amazing, but this is going to be a good end to the season. We have some interesting matches. You and I get Baguette again for the 9th time, but it all works out.
We've literally had Baguette squad every single time that they have been on stream, outside of the B stream. Obviously, we let those guys at Rival Esports do their thing, and again, fantastic job all season long by them, especially last week getting to work with them. Great job, great production, everything from them, and also the production team behind what we're doing right now. Just fantastic season. Got to just say thank you so much to everyone involved. But yeah, Baguette squad, we get them again. But that's the next match. Let's focus on this one, because we have Notorious Legion going up against Servette Geneva. Can Servette Geneva pull off the upset is the big question, and we're about to find out.
All right, Subi, you said the key to this is cash. I said the key was cutting down passing lanes. We can mix those together. Give me a prediction for game 1. What would you like to see out of Servette right off the start to get things going?
Not that. No double commits. We just saw Zafir and Mir go up at the same time, and Mir with the shot, but very weak, and Zafir is forced into a bad position up off that side wall. But I just want to see good, crisp rotations from them and zero hesitation. That's one thing I've noticed from Servette, is they sort of hesitate for that split second, and that's what's leading to these balls like that coming out from Matane. They just need to be decisive in their actions.
Now, one of the issues we actually discussed about Notorious Legion in the beginning of the season was they left the net open too many times. They were beat on transition, and their third man back was caught in rotation so often that it led to open goals, and that's really what led to their current situation of being at 4-4. But they seem to change that a little bit, and now, of course, they're in control of their destiny, no problem. They're playing for some extra money. At the end of the day, those mistakes have been changed, and we'll see what they're able to do next season. But to start off things, still 0-0. Cash gets a bump, but that ball's going to go back to midfield, handled by Matane up into the sidewall. And Mir couldn't get another touch, and back the other way. Before Yagi goes up for the challenge, and here comes Taz with an opportunity over one, and a follow-up. He baits the player out of the box. And Notorious Legion find the first goal.
This is just a nasty ceiling shot from Taz. No respect from the defender, and he makes him pay with that pass off the backboard. and Cash is going to ring that home all day long. 1-0 in favor of Notorious Legion here in game number 1.
And already you can see them applying pressure at midfield, but here comes a secondary chance. Taz will control it up into the corner, and Cash gets bumped out of the way and doesn't have the boost to follow up, so he has to go for a grab. He does get it back to midfield as Notorious Legion have the pace for now. It's going to be easily handled into the corner. No boost on the ceiling. And for a team that's really great at stealing midfield boosts, they've seemed to run out a couple of times when it comes to just getting a shot on net, and back the other way we go.
Yeah, but we did just see a boost steal in that back corner from Cash, and you can see the defense starting to scramble. This is a dangerous pass, and good challenge there from Mirwing. And Matane able to catch that. So far, Servette Geneva unable to break out of midfield. Another pass off the backboard, another shot, but that one just off target, and the scoreline remains 1-0. And finally, this ball pushed into the orange half, but still no offense coming out from Servette Geneva. So far, only one shot on target, and it was that weak one right at the top of the box that we saw within the first 30 seconds of gameplay.
And after that first shot attempt, I really loved what I saw from Notorious Legion. They weren't overcommitting. They were allowing those two offensive units to move on in and try to find a goal. But Matane was sitting in the back line. He wasn't going to overextend if he didn't have to. Here comes a chance and a follow-up, and that's going to be a good goal as Yagi's able to put it under a defender, and they tie this game up at 1 apiece.
There's actually a touch right there from Taz. You see that orange trail on the ball, but Matane not able to get back fast enough. Either way, that one was going to be a goal, and Servette Geneva tie it up here, game number 1, just as we cross halftime.
Able to split the defense right on the edge of the box. That led to a good opportunity. Here comes Mirror, of course, the OG remaining player from last season for this team. Picked up 2 young guns in Yagi and Zafer. And so far, it hasn't paid as many dividends as they expected, but it's been a long season, and next season, I'm sure they would like to be back and try to fix their mistakes. It's just about one game at a time at this point, and of course, you're just playing for some money, and you would love to go out on a high note. And that ball, speaking of high notes, is going to hang. Mirrorwing will grab it. Up for Yagi, the redirect behind the back, not going to happen as Zafer will go off the back wall. That's going to waterfall down, but Cash will reel it in.
For some of you viewers out there that might be scratching your head a little bit when Spaceman says Mir is the veteran of this team, he means they're playing in all those tournaments, trying to get ready for Rival Series. But This is their first Rival Series together. All 3 technically rookies, but Mirwing, the veteran of this team. Just for some clarification, and so far we have a battle of midfield, no shots coming out. That's a dangerous pass, but great challenge from that man who we're talking about here there. And under 1 minute to go, we're getting in golden goal territory, and it's looking like Notorious Legion is starting to slow up.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not as physical as we've seen them be prior, and they haven't created as many passing opportunities. They've been running out of boost fairly quickly in midair. That's a shot off the backboard. Zafer will carry it. Over 1, over 2. Cash knocks it away to the corner, taken away by Mirror. And again, we slow it down on the sideboard. And back to midfield. Taz following in pursuit. Matane will be there behind. Mirrorwing will grab it. 18 seconds, still a tie game. Here comes a chance, and it's knocked away.
No pressure put on this ball. Notorious Legion all day long, and that's a dangerous one. Cash almost got the touch. Mirwing gets this one away, and if this ball hits, we'll be finding our way to overtime, but not if Cash has anything to say with it. Gets the flip reset, the ball's still up, and just narrowly avoids the net. Overtime we go in game number 1. Servette Geneva have done very well to counter the aggression coming out from Notorious Legion.
Mirror cheats out for boost. He does get the second tap, but it's won by Notorious Legion. And it will hang off the backboard. Who's going to follow up? Well, Mirrorwing is in net. Didn't get a lot of power behind that. Here comes a follow-up shot. It's not going to connect. Cash will slow it down. Zafer will steal it away. Now Zafer carrying. Never mind. Taz takes it and sends it back into the corner. Cash is ready and waiting. He's going to read it off the wall, and he's going to now carry it to the ceiling. Let's see if he can continue this play. Extends it, flips it over 1, up for Matane. Can he spike it down?
No!
Yes, he can! Matane with a beautiful goal, and they take it in overtime.
Oh, the mechanics, the pain off the ceiling, gets his flip back and somehow eats that ball. What an overtime killer.
Just plays that will separate you in this lineup, in this league. Notorious Legion get a very scary Game 1 win, but a win is a win, and at this point, it's all about the cash. And of course, you can see 1 goal. Speaking of cash, 1 goal, 1 assist, 4 saves, and 3 shots. He did everything. And you talked about him being a standout player. His defense has certainly led up to some of his offensive capabilities, and I think we could talk about that a little bit here with 4 saves on 3 shots. I mean, you can't ask for much more.
No, you can't. I mean, this guy is doing everything for his team this season. He has 28 goals, which leads the team. He has 24 assists, which leads the team, and 52 saves, which also leads the team. I mean, this guy is so fast, and this is what a team like Notorious Legion needed. Matane and Taz, fantastic players, but they're not the speedy boys on the team. They needed someone that could just hit that accelerator and not let off of it, and most importantly, someone they can trust. You know that when Cash is going up for a challenge, he's going to connect with that ball, and that's the difference maker right now in this matchup.
No, that's absolutely correct. And now we sit in a perfect situation for Notorious Legion. I think Game 1 was a bit rust, a little bit scary. Again, remember, Servette is 1-7. So this is a matchup that I think everyone should be expecting Notorious Legion to take, but honestly, who knows, man? It could go either way, but for right now, I like what I see from Notorious. On the other side, for Servette, they played that entire game great. They just didn't get as many follow-up opportunities on shots that Servette really, or that Notorious Legion had, right? There was a couple of individual opportunities, but other than that, not a whole lot on offense that we saw. Of course, that's really the reason why they lost in overtime, and just a great play at the end from Cash. But off the start, taken away by Taz, going to carry it right over midfield, challenged on the ceiling and won by Yagi, who gets another flip into the corner. Notorious Legion will handle it. Taz grabs a boost on the side, and he's going to have to fall back and play this one in the corner, where it looks like Matane will get a save, and he does right out of net. And Yagi's going to challenge, but it's won by Cash again.
And look at that speed coming out. Cash almost able to reel that one in, but great defense and awkward redirect at midfield. Gonna throw the defense off, and Mir wins that challenge, but Matane there for the cleanup. Great rotations coming out from Notorious Legion on the defensive half, especially just past midfield line, and we saw Cash going for a demo there on Zafair, not able to pull it off, but still back and forth, 1 shot apiece. Here's another one, but that one's easily defended by Yagi.
And Cash again with a win on the challenge. And you said he'll go for those balls, and he's doing it now. Taz couldn't get the extra lucky bounce. Height wasn't a problem. Then Cash comes in again, finds another touch. Zafair sitting back at net. It's going to go up to the ceiling. Yagi will handle it. He's going to extend this one forward. Zafair meets him in the air on a double commit. Matane actually takes it away. Now it's just a 1v1 in the net, and Cash pushes it to the back of the net. And just a great play and a great win from Matane.
Yeah, and we get to see what I was talking about in the pregame. Mir already on the ground. I'm sorry, Cash already in the air. Mir sitting on the ground, unable to react fast enough. And that's the difference between the rival series and being a bubble player. You got to be able to react and not hesitate. And right there, Cash made him pay.
Yagi sends that one the other way. Taz will stave it off. Zafair with a great hit, but Cash is in position again. He takes it away. Now Matane challenging. Neither player get a touch, but it should be Taz who controls it. He actually pinches it up perfectly, and Cash goes for the challenge. Doesn't win it this time. Matane underneath will spike it ahead, and Merowing intercepts again. So a little bit more aggressive from Servette than we've seen in the first minute or so of this game, but they did get punished on that double commit in the air, and they left Cash wide open. Can't do that too often. Taz slows it down. Zafair had to back up, and Merowing will control it. Ceiling won by Matane, and extended forward to the blue half. As Notorious Legion are looking to create an opportunity as Cash will spike it down. Can anyone follow? It's a great touch, but an even better save from Yagi.
Good save, good comms there. Yagi was low on boost, went for the side, and just narrowly saving that is Cash, but the pressure still remains from Servette Geneva. This ball at midfield, Yagi unable to find his mark, but they continue with the passes, and that one gets away. It's going to lead to a turnover, but right back into the orange half it goes, and Servette misses that on the side wall. Could have continued that pressure, because right now Notorious Legion a little low on boost, but they all get boost up. It just takes a couple seconds, and just like that, the goal was open.
Those are the kind of plays you have to execute on. It doesn't matter what state your season is in. It doesn't matter how you're feeling. You cannot let an open goal like that slip through your fingers. That's the difference between a tie game and possibly an opportunity for Notorious Legion to come in and find a recovery. And they are looking to put this game away with a minute 15. The team has to slow it down. Demo from Mirror. He somehow is still able to find this ball. Pinch down. Yagi following. It's going to go off the backboard. Can he waterfall it? Yes. Who's going to follow up? No one. Back into the corner. Notorious Legion could not get a response goal. And now they're looking to follow in. Cash tries to go for a challenge. Back to midfield. That one's going to hang for a while. Matane tries to reel it in. Zafair wins the challenge in the air. And Taz grabs the boost. So they have an advantage for now at midfield. But they are staving off this Servette push for about 2 minutes. And they've done a great job.
Well, it's because Servette, their positioning isn't the greatest. They're almost playing like a parallel line coming up and down the field. This is going to be a dangerous one, but nice pinch down the field. And what I'd like to see from them is like a staggered triangle. Someone pressuring the ball, and then someone sitting right at midfield, right at the center line, and someone on the side of whichever side the ball is on. And that way you can gather up those balls that try and come loose. Right now, Servette Geneva just can't create enough pressure because there's only one person trying to challenge the ball, and if it goes left or right, no one's there.
Still 0 seconds. A great shot. Matane spikes it away. And this one should touch. Cash is going to carry it now. He might just put the nail in his coffin. Oh, he just isn't able to follow in. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. As the time will run out. That ball touches. 2-0 to Notorious Legion. And unfortunately for Servette, they had an opportunity. It was basically an open net, and he just wasn't able to get the accuracy. I believe it was Taz who actually came out of the back of the net and was able to knock it away with 3 shots for Taz, 1 for Matane, and a goal for Cash. But on the other side, they had 2 shots, 3 shots, a couple of saves, not a whole lot. And you're just looking at this kind of just going by the books, right? Notorious Legion is playing the way they play. Servette Geneva is playing the way they play. And at this point, the story is already written. Again, it's just for Cash, but you got to give it up. I mean, Notorious Legion held off all of Servette for about 2 minutes, and they were able to just come out with a 1-0 win.
Yeah, and again, I've got to go back to the positioning of Servette. They did keep pressure well in the Notorious Legion half, but it just wasn't sustained for long enough. There'd be a shot, and then a couple seconds later, another shot. But they're allowing Notorious Legion to easily rotate through and gather up that back post and cover the net perfectly fine. I'd like to see him push forward a little more. And like I was saying, instead of trying to run like a parallel line up and down going towards the net, try and make a little triangle. Someone run the spear. Does that make sense? I don't know. Spear point? Sure. But
Arrowhead.
Run a triangle instead of a parallel line, and you're going to cover more of the field laterally instead of up and down. So you're more susceptible to those booming clears. But so far, Notorious Legion haven't been beating you with those. So make them beat you with those, and then you can try and change things up if it's not working.
I think it's funny that you bring up the booming clears, because that was really the Achilles heel for Notorious Legion for the majority of the season, was the amount of times they got burned on open nets. And they had another open net. They didn't get burned on transition, but you have to just thank your lucky stars that they didn't connect and tie that game up in game 2. And now another demo in net leaves an opportunity for Cash to make something happen. No boost will cancel that opportunity. That's going to go back up to the ceiling. But like you said, just kind of get Notorious Legion to play out of their pocket a little bit. Maybe you can burn them on a booming clear, but you have to find a way to spread the field. That's kind of their biggest issue, is just finding space. Slow down in net. Cash will carry, flicks it over 1. Mirror will handle it. Never mind. Matane wins the challenge up for Cash off the backboard. No follow-up. And a challenge won by Mirror actually staves it out into the corner, so they save a goal. And Zafair is trying to bring this back to midfield, but Notorious Legion find ways to disrupt those plays.
Oh, got the reset, got it under Cash. It was so unexpected that it worked. And that is their first goal here in game number.
You know, Subi, I'm kind of surprised that. Oh, I guess I should ask this in a form of question for you. Are you surprised that this series isn't a bit of, you know, a higher scoring one? Maybe not like, you know, 5-2, 4-1, 4-2. I'm surprised it's gone down to the wire each and every game.
I would say no. And the reason being is Notorious Legion isn't a dangerous team. You know, they're not Team BDS. They're not RCD Espanyol, where they're just running the scoreboard on teams.
Yeah.
They're middle of the pack, and they've won some games by squeaking by. And right now, I mean, yes, Servette Geneva isn't the best team in the league. They're ninth, but they can still hang with you. Just give them enough space. They're going to just be along for the ride. And right now, that's what they're doing. Pressure isn't there, but look at that pass. Infield play. And right now, if Servette Geneva is going to have a chance, obviously hold on to this lead, but also get teammates involved. So far, they only have 2 goals in this entire series, and both are unassisted. There's no team play present on the field right now.
Well, you want to talk about kind of a Dorito shape. That's really what Notorious Legion has been able to do. A dangerous ball that hangs in the middle of the box. It's a good demo. Here comes a chance. A double touch was perfect, but Zafair was in a better position to take it away. He brings it to midfield, a pass to Yagi, and won by Notorious Legion, now mushed to the other corner. And another challenge. This is dangerous. Somehow, Servette are able to hold on for dear life and keep this at a 1-0 game. I'm surprised with the shots they put on net and the way that Servette's been able to respond, and not only that, but take it out of their own net. But a win by Matane could lead to an opportunity. That's a demo from Notorious Legion. That's going to hang. Cash can't get to it. Taz doesn't have boost. He now grabs the corner. And again, Servette find a way to stay alive.
That was a great bump, and Cash gets the reset. Yagi with the save, and my goodness, Servette Geneva scrambling on defense. They've been 30 seconds right now with all 3 members so low on boosts, but finally able to get the ball into the orange half, but right back to the blue half it goes. They just can't seem to find a way to get into offense right now.
Well, that one's going to drop right down. Cash could read it. He will. Slows it down on the wall. Challenge won by Zafair. In contest, traffic. No one wins it. Out from Matane. I guess Cash was in a position to cut off that pass, but 3 players now committing at midfield from Servette. Matane won't get a handle. That's going to be back to the corner. Mirror following. Taz trying to read it. Does. That's a booming hit. Now Matane can follow in pursuit and extend this play. That bump sends it right up to Taz. He's going to send it up for Cash. A great pass, but no one can connect. 53 seconds. And I'm surprised with just how much time Notorious Legion has spent in the blue half, but they've not been able to find the net. Another chance from Cash with only 1 boost. Never mind. And Servette doing a great job of staying alive in their third.
Well, they just keep dumping the ball into the corners, and last I checked, that's not where the net is. So they need to try and go for those infield passes. I've seen a few come out. Cash just got that boost, and he doesn't need to do anything as that ball just floats downfield and finds its way underneath the crossbar.
That was like a 2-point floater right over the center. I didn't think it had a chance, but my God. Tied 1-1. Game 3, series on the line for Servette. They played great defense for 4.5 minutes. They just needed the last 30 seconds to go their way, and unfortunately a floater ties this game up. Matane redirects it up for Cash. Off the backboard, not going to waterfall. Taz follows in off the ceiling, passes it to the corner. And Yagi steals it away. We could be looking at another overtime. We should be, unless a miracle happens. Yagi carries, flicks it over one by Taz. And this one is going to remain in the air. Should touch, and it will.
All right, another overtime. Game 1 went in favor of Notorious Legion, but can Servette change that? The shot almost there, but Cash Money read it well, and great flick. He still has the ball, somehow able to get possession of that. Good 50-50, and again, Notorious Legion making a statement here in the blue half.
Amir with a great defensive play out of the box to be able to read that ball. Just gatekeeping to keep this series alive. Taz wins a challenge somehow. No boost, however. That's going to go to the corner. Here comes a chance for Servette to get their first win of the series. Yagi still wins the challenge in the air. Ball remains in traffic. Going to drop down for Taz, who passes it forward a little bit, actually to himself. Mirror going to try to redirect it behind. Will not happen. Matane does grab boost in the process. A follow-up shot's going to go off the side of the post. And Yagi gets an unfortunate hit, as it looks like in transition, Notorious Legion might have an opportunity.
Oh, this is going to be dangerous. Cash with the shot just off. Good defense there from Mir. And the pressure still remains, but that one off target. Good booming clear downfield to Mir. Mir puts it on target, but Matane, great rotation back to defense, and that ball's dead in front of the box. And this is a fun one, Spaceman. I'm loving the pressure we're seeing from both teams.
It's good to remember that if Notorious Legion win this series, they are guaranteed at least 5th place, if not 4th. We'll see how these matches play out later today, but it's just something to keep in the back of your mind. Doesn't matter how the series goes, but again, they're staving this one out at midfield about 2 minutes into overtime. Mirror with a chance. It looked good, but it was won by Notorious at the end. Cash off the ceiling, could not follow in. Taz slows it down, sends it back to the corner. Yagi will handle it, and Matane cuts it off. I love how Zafir is playing on top of Cash on the side of the wall, like refusing to let Cash get a touch. And he finds a way to win the challenge on the other side. That's going to go off the backboard. Yagi will handle it. And Yagi will carry.
I wonder if that could be a game plan. You almost play like a spy defense on one player, or like a box in one, where you're just focused. But when Cash is winning 50-50s like that, it's good night. And that's what we're going to bid Servette Geneva. Good night, as they just got swept by Notorious Legion.
Zafir was there for the challenge, but it was all Notorious Legion in the front of the net. They win it 2-1. 2 overtimes in this series. At the end of the day, it's a 3-0 win, which means they are sitting at least 5th place, if not 4th. 4th, of course, would just be more money, but it'd be good to have. And at the end of the day, a 3-0 win for Notorious Legion once again proves that they have figured out some of their mistakes. They have clearly changed their rhythm, and they are going to come back next season. We'll see what they're able to do, but for Servette, a lot to fix. Seemed like they had some good things going. Their defense was really great. But at the end of the day, it was coming down to executing, finding accuracy on shots. They weren't able to do it. A pretty underwhelming performance, I guess you could say. But at 1-7, it wasn't like we were expecting a whole lot. But I'm not too unimpressed with what I saw, right? They were able to stay in it all 3 games. They didn't get blown out, which is good. It's good for morale. At the end of the day, we'd like to see them fix things, come back, hopefully next season, find their way through play-ins, and maybe be middle of the pack.
Yeah, and because of that sweep, it just made things a little interesting as far as money goes, because if Baguette squad can pull out a win over RCD Espanyol, which is a big ask, they can find themselves in 9th place because of that sweep. And things get interesting, like you said. Notorious Legion now did the work they needed to do, and now they just need the help of Team BDS to take down Triple Trouble, and Notorious Legion can then go into 4th, and Triple Trouble will slide into 5th. So a lot of things can happen, and we're going to figure that all out right now, as we're going to go to a quick break. But before we do, we're going to make sure you guys don't go anywhere, because we have Baguette Squad coming up against RCD Espanyol. RCD needs to win this matchup to try and hold on and fight for first place. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Hello and welcome back. It's the Rival Series and it's match numero dos. We're getting into it. Notorious Esport, they just did the thing. Now we're up to another one where it might be a little predictable, but that's why we play the games. To see the upsets, Baguette Squad versus RCD Espanyol. RCD Espanyol has kind of been top of the crop. Team BDS came in and said, hey, it's our turn now. Baguette Squad, listen, I am going to ask it as plainly as a loaf of white bread. Spaceman, do the Baguette Squad have a chance?
Nope, not a chance.
Okay.
I mean, they in this universe, in this world, anything is possible, right? But they don't. It's not even to be mean. It's not, but there's zero possibility that somehow they win this series.
If somehow Baguette Squad do get the victory, we get to see some prize money change around, but they're going to be staying in the region of teams that need to kind of reshuffle. RCD Espanyol, if TBDS doesn't win, they can find their way into number one, but it's a little bit more interesting. Subi, what do you expect out of this match?
I expect a 3-0 and a perfect sweep in favor of RCD Espanyol.
Well, all right.
To put it as simply as possible.
Well, with that said, I guess we'll just... No, I'm just kidding. Baguette Squad, though, Swoopin and Rizwal, I do want to give a shout-out to these guys intentionally. Because Yukis in the later weeks has not exactly performed. If you spent any amount of time in the community, in the Discords, on the Reddit, you kind of get the deal that Yukis isn't out here maybe putting his best foot forward. No disrespect, just calling a spade a spade. Welcome to the Rival Series, boys. I like what Swoopin and Rizwal are doing, though. Despite the fact that they're number 10, despite the fact that they're winless, despite the fact they got a teammate that's not really vibing, they are still out here playing the game, doing the thing. If you watch last week's VOD, they're still out here playing to win. Spaceman, you agree?
I do. I think that we had a pretty lengthy discussion on air and off air about Rizwal and Swoopin, and we said maybe they feel a little bit more free now. They can sort of change up the way they play. It looked like their chemistry had finally clicked. They were making some things happen on the pitch together. There was a duality that we hadn't seen in weeks prior. But still, at the end of the day, like this, even with how they were playing, it wasn't like they were so mind-blowingly different and good that we were like, oh my god, this duo, like they're going to take over games and it's completely different now for Baguette. I still don't see that. I still just see this as a team that has a lot to grow on, a lot to improve. They're playing arguably the second best, if not the best team in the league. If Baguette somehow wins, it would be BDS versus BDS, Solari, and then RCD, but that's a miracle. Again, I didn't see enough from the win, I didn't see enough from them last week to make me think, oh, they've figured out the magic potion. There is no Michael Jordan secret stuff they can drink. It's not going to happen.
Word. Well, let's step out of the shade and into the sun real quick. RCD Espanyol have been a shining beacon of positivity in this league. Steak, Tox, and Jamwe have been looking fantastic. So what are the things that Baguette Squad can kind of learn from RCD Espanyol? Let's pretend that our audience is from Mars and they've never seen these teams play. Subi, how can you explain RCD Espanyol's play style? Why are they so good? Why are they number 2 and have been number 1 all season?
I mean, first off, it comes down to making your shots. I think that's an obvious statement that you got to make goals to win games, but when the opportunities present themselves, they're hitting their shots. Right now, Stake is shooting about 26%, Tox is 32%, and Zamway all the way down at 17%, but he's doing what he needs to with assists. And sometimes Rocket League counts a ball that's placed close to net as a shot, even though it might
Sure.
be a strategic pass. And I think that's what's going on with Zamway, because right now he has 35 assists on the season, which is incredible. But the big storyline for me is the total amount of shots that RCD Espanyol takes. And that's 332. To put that in perspective, we just saw Servette Geneva play, the lowest shooting team, at 207. So these guys just put on a ton of shots, and that creates the pressure, and that makes defenses crumble, and they're creating their own opportunities. That's the difference between this team and a team like Baguette.
Just a brief break in the action as we wait for our teams to get ready. We're not just talking to hear ourselves talk. The squads are lining up and revving their engines, so we'll get into action in just a little bit. Great points, though, Subi. I think that's a really big deal, is how much time they spend on the offensive side of the field. And when we talk about these teams, we talk about their prowess both on the positive side of the negative side of the ball, meaning on their side of the field and the opponents. RCD Espanyol is one of these teams that we can look at the defensive prowess, but that's not really where they're winning games, because it's always on the opponent's side of the pitch. How you feeling about that, Space?
No, that's absolutely right. They're very mirror-like of BDS, right? They outscore mistakes if they have them, but they don't have to play a lot of defense because they just score at will over everyone else. And that's where, on flip side, Baguette struggled. They've never really been ahead in a series, and never really been ahead when it comes to going down to the wire. We've never really looked at them and said they're going to outscore their problems or they're going to find a way to do it. We've never had that comment about them. It's not a bad thing. It just is the way it is. And their biggest problem is that this entire series, off the first start of the pitch, off the first drop of the second, like, they're going to be playing off the back foot. They are going to have to find a way to completely dictate an entire new pace that RCD hasn't seen yet in the entirety of the season. And being that this is probably RCD's easiest opponent, I think that kind of mountain is something that, regardless of how well Swoopin and Riz will play as a duo, they can't figure that out.
It'll be kind of tough for Baguette squad to climb the mountain. We've set the table. Let's shift into prediction mode real quick. I think I know what you guys are thinking, because it's me, Miss Cleo. I'm going to guess Subi is going RCD Espanyol.
I'm actually going to go with RCD Espanyol. You are correct. And
you got me.
I got it. It's a debate. But look, RCD Espanyol, while they are second place and battling for first, and I do expect this to be a sweep, and I do expect it to be a perfect sweep just because of who RCD Espanyol is, it would not surprise me if it went to Game 5, because RCD Espanyol, they've played 8 series this season. 6 of those have gone to Game 5. So this is a team that plays down to their opponents. Wouldn't surprise me if they do the exact same here.
Spaceman?
I'm going RCD, of course. But Subi, that's an interesting point, because we said that last week, but at the same time, I feel like, yes, they've happened to play down to their opponents. And again, this is not shade at players or anything. This is just about the constructs of the teams we're watching. Baguette is not the same teams that they've played. They are not the teams that'll go to Game 5. They are not the teams that can push a game to the distance. They're going against an 0-8 team that clearly is 0-8. Like, I don't see how this goes Game 5 at all, regardless of the trends that RCD has had.
I mean, they went to Game 5 with Servette.
Yeah, but Servette is a better team than Baguette. They have a win.
I mean, they went to Game 5 with Vertex. They went to Game 5. I mean,
Vertex is a better team than Baguette.
I get it, but I'm just saying.
Nah, you're not saying. You're done saying because I'm here with what Space Man's bringing. You guys are bringing valuable analysis, and you guys are being very, very fair to these teams. Listen, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I'm gonna call a club, and I'm gonna call a dud a dud. This Baguette squad has not performed all season. They still aren't performing. They look like half a squad, and RCD Espanyol are one of the shining teams of this league. This is gonna be a 3-0. It's not gonna be close. I would be surprised if Baguette squad scored a goal. RCD Espanyol are going to win this one, and they're going to dance across the finish line backwards. This is going to be nasty. This is going to be devastating. I'm so ready for this. I love stomps. Everybody always likes to sit up here and all right, yeah, I want a nice close match. No, I want to see from the top rope just devastation. I'm here for it, man. People might not like that. Welcome. It's me, your boy. I want to see the smackdown. So that's what I'm rooting for. Players still getting ready to take the field. We will get there in just a moment. And we'll see how right I am. Because you guys can be nice, but
I gotta say, I like when you let your hair down, F. Dot.
So much more aggressive. I like it.
I'm here for it, man. Listen,
Subi,
it's
think about
last
this.
week.
Subi, think about this. Like, how bad would it be if it does go game 5 for RCD? Can we really say they're the best?
No, I don't think you can say they're the best right now, just because they've
Yeah.
gone to so
But
many
like, if
game
it goes
fives.
game 5, what are we talking about now?
Yeah.
We're talking about Baguette squad going to 9th place because they're going to win that game 5.
Wow. You guys have made a 180. The teams are. Can we get a check in with the teams real quick? I know we're still getting things ready. Well, I'm about done with you guys. You can't sell me a world where Baguette. All right, fine. Let's entertain it. Let's have a return to real conversation.
Okay.
Baguette wins. How do they do so? What is the strategy needed for Baguette to take this, Subi?
Weather the storm. Like I said, RCD just launches a ton of shots. So that pressure is going to be there. They're going to be crossing midfield line. Baguette squad have got to read the field. You can't go for those booming clears every time. They are going to be available, but RCD is going to react appropriately. So you've got to be able to short clear the ball and long clear the ball, and you have to score in transition. You're not going to beat RCD by playing this, all right, we're going to keep the ball in your half for 30 seconds and then score. It's got to be, we're transitioning from defense, and here comes a shot, and bang, that's going to be the difference.
Well, just like that, bang, we're going to get into it. Sorry for the delay. Game number 1 right now.
Subi, the only way Baguette wins this is if RCD refuses to show up today. Like, I don't care how good they play. I don't care how much they read RCD. I just don't see this at all going anywhere other than a 3-0 win. And again, prove me wrong. Go for it. But at the end of the day, I'm reading the numbers and I'm telling me what my eyeballs tell me. This should be a very quick series, but anything is possible, and that's the beauty of Rocket League. So off the start, remember, Ben is still in for this team. We'll see if Baguette can find a way to move this forward. Of course, last week, that was his first real time at this level, right? That was his first time in the Rivals Series. He played pretty well, but they still came out with an 0-3 loss. So at the end of the day, it's still a loss, but you would love to see them possibly somehow rewrite the script here.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, especially when you've got naysayers like you on the opposition.
Oh, okay.
Trying to say that they can't do anything. But hey, we just saw a win from Damway. Maybe that's going to be the storyline all day. Maybe RCD's not going to hit their shots, and Baguette squad's going to be able to capitalize.
We'll see if they're able to. Visual takes it to the corner, grabs boost in the process, and a win by Talk to the goal line. Staves off the first goal from Baguette. Rizzuel with a follow-up, and Rizzuel puts it to the top of the net. So off the start, F. Dot is wrong. They score a goal, and whenever F. Dot's wrong, it's a good day.
Oh, that is a beautiful infield pass. But the play all started from that pressure from Ben. Able to put that shot on, forcing a 50-50 in net to get that defender out of there. And that caused chaos and panic. And speaking of Ben, here he goes. Another 50-50, neutral one in the orange half. And Talk's trying to get this ball forward. Good start coming out from Baguette squad, but they leave the net open. Rizzuel there for the save. And Baguette squad starting to scramble a little bit on defense.
what you could see from Baguette is they're taking their time with these approaches. They're letting the plays develop. But on the other side, RCD is very quick to strike. They are very easily going to be at midfield intercepting passes like this, and they're going to push that ball into your half quicker than you can really grab boost. That's kind of what they stood ahead of in the beginning of the season and now moved into the very last week before, of course, we make it to playoffs. But still, they are fighting for that #1 seed. Let's look at just some of the storylines that we have going into this game. Of course, even though it's one-sided, there still are storylines. Baguette pulls this out. RCD is still going to be in top 3, but it would be BDS, Solari, and then RCD Espanyol. If Espanyol and BDS win, of course, top 3 is the same. But if RCD win and BDS lose, then it's going to be RCD, BDS, and Solari for top 3. So this is basically a do-or-die win for RCD, regardless of the stats. They have to win this game to at least secure a first-place finish, hoping that BDS lose today.
Yeah, you got to do whatever you can to put yourself in first place, and they've had a fantastic season. Oh my goodness, another one almost going in from Visual. But like you were saying, they have to win this one if they want a chance at first place, and so far, it is not going their way in game #1.
Seems like they're still trying to figure out what Baguette's throwing at them. We haven't seen a whole lot of offense from RCD, but we've seen good defense. Stake staves it away to the corner. Zamwe pushes it back. Visual tried to win a challenge. That ball's going to go up for Swoopin, who extends the play. And a pinch by Tox puts it back to midfield, then off the ceiling. But it kind of just seems like RCD is testing the grounds, kind of like a litmus test. So far for Baguette, they're doing a good job of staving off some of these pushes. Another challenge won by Stake into the corner. It's going to be a double commit. Ben neglects to go back to net. And Stake somehow kind of wins it. Never mind. Zamwe will be there. Let's see if he can redirect it, but Stake had to go get boost. And now it's an opportunity in transition, but Stake takes it away.
Yeah, and you were saying they're staving off the pressure decently well here, but here comes a shot from Swoopin, nice and fast. Stake gets that save. A tough one to make, but for RCD Espanyol, staving off pressure isn't going to be enough. They have to find shots, and we just got under the last minute of gameplay, and so far still only 2 shots on the board for RCD Espanyol. No offense here.
Zamwe handles it. It's going to go right down. Tox with a good shot, and even better save from Visual. Regardless of the side antics or politics in the back end, you have to just look at how Visual and Swoopin have played. It's light years ahead of how they started the season, and there could be many factors for that. We won't go into detail, but clearly something has changed. Looks like they're more comfortable on the field. And maybe Ben could be the big turnaround for this team. Maybe he's the swing factor. We can wait and see. Tox wins it with 10 seconds. Can Zamwe extend the play to the corner? Stake finds it. Tox puts it up for a teammate. Ben will grab it on the board, and that's going to drop down. And Baguette squad take game 1. And all those people who said they wouldn't win the series, y'all are just a bunch of losers, because we never said that. We said that Baguette was going to take game 1. Subi, what in the world just happened? What's going on?
Yeah, totally. That's exactly what we said. But I think it's pretty simple. One shot apiece for Zamwe, Stake, and Tox.
Yep.
And you got a bunch on the board. 9 for Baguette squad. That's the difference maker right now. You cannot win a game if you aren't putting shots on target. And especially when they're poor shots on target. I think there was maybe one that made Baguette squad truly flinch on defense. Outside of that, nothing. And I mean, maybe Baguette squad was listening to the pre-show. They got mad at us. I don't know.
I woke up today and I was like, like anything's possible. Every time like an underdog like this, I'm like, anything's possible. What if we just take him? Like, what? But then my brain kicks in. I'm like, nah, there's no way. They're not winning this. Like, it's RCD. Okay, they took game 1. Okay, so I
think this is the point of 2 teams on completely different trajectories, obviously with their positions on the season scoreboard, but just they started off so hot. RCD Espanyol, that is. They started off super hot, and they've simmered down as the season's gone along, and seems like they're cooling off at the worst point possible, where they are going to be possibly heading into the promotion tournament, whereas Baguette squad played very well last week. And, you know, I think it's all due to the roster change, bringing Ben on board. Now they're finally playing like a team, when all season long, it was all individual gameplay. We didn't see any team play from Baguette squad. Now we're starting to see it, and to be honest, I'm liking what I'm seeing from this squad.
They look a lot more comfortable than they've looked all season. I think you could make that argument. Like, just by the way that Swoopin and Rizzo are conducting their play, and Ben kind of just fits the mold, right? Like, he's the third guy. Didn't have a lot to prove last week. Didn't prove a lot, but didn't play bad by any stretch of the imagination. But this team has no expectations, and with a new roster change at the very end of the season, of course, that can always be detrimental. But with their position, I think maybe it was the right move. You never know what could happen. And I don't think they played great last week, but they played better than they have. And I think at this point, we can only see our expectations rise from them. So if they come out and they steal this series somehow, and they force RCD to rethink their placement in the league, like, I don't know what's going to happen with Europe, but it's going to be a nightmare trying to figure out how RCD got to this point.
Yeah, and I mean, they'll have no one to blame but themselves, to be honest, if that does happen, because your fate was in your own hands, and you played mathematically the worst team in the league. So this is an ideal situation for RCD Espanyol right now. This is exactly who you want to play in the last week. But right now, it is just looking like they're outmatched and outpaced.
They look like they're still trying to figure out how they're going to wake up in this series. There hasn't been a whole lot of offense, a couple of opportunities, but I mean, one of the things that we talked about in the pregame was the ability to create shots, the relentless pressure they put on, and the continuation of extending plays, right? We haven't seen any of that in the start of this series. Like, they haven't found ways to create mismatches. They haven't found ways to put second shots on net. Their accuracy hasn't been that great, but again, it's just good defense from Baguette. I'm kind of surprised just how flat RCD looks to start this series.
Yeah, extremely flat. And that was a dangerous pass. All three members were at midfield. It would have been a perfect opportunity for RCD to strike, and this one's going to be dangerous. Swoopin was going for the bump on Tox. Just couldn't quite find it. Here comes an opportunity for RCD, but you see the pass way too far forward, but they do retain possession. But this one's going right back to midfield and right back in favor of Baguette squad.
Swoopin was able to cut it off at the wall, but Zomway now off the ceiling. Never mind. Swoopin grabs it, passes into the corner. No one's there except Ben, who tries to pinch it up for Rizzual, but they have to fall back in transition. They're not going to get beat in the second half like we've seen in weeks prior. They're doing a good job of staving off some of these hits. Follow-up from Ben. Puts it back in midfield. Challenge won by Rizzual. That's going to drop right down. Ben sets it up. Can anyone be there except for Tox? No. Tox will move it forward. Dribbles over one. Dribbles over a second. But Ben takes it away. And now Stake says something to send it back to the back wall. Rizzual meets it in the air. Zomway does not win the challenge. That's going to go down and be taken away by Baguette squad. And somehow, again, they are winning the challenge at midfield. No one has scored yet. But we could be looking at a Baguette goal momentarily as Ben tries to follow in for the second attempt and Swoopin couldn't get it.
Both Zamway and Tox just went for that corner boost, and you see a low flip there going up. But good passing play forward, but Ben was sitting back waiting. Great rotation from the rookie coming out here in week 7.
Going to go to the side, waiting to see what really would develop. Nothing for the moment. A dangerous hit by Rizzual, and a demo in the front of the net could lead to something. But Swoopin comes back on respawn, and now we're back to full strength. Over one, not over Tox. Into the corner for Stake, reads it off the wall. Rizzual will grab it. Never mind. Rizzual misses it, and Zomway's slowing it down in the front of the box. Here comes a follow-up shot. It's going to go off the backboard. Stake sends it again to the corner. Swoopin with a knockaway. 22 seconds. Tox slowing it down. Finally, RCD are getting some life in the blue half. Let's see if they can execute and connect. As that's pass forward from Ben. Rizwell handles it. That's going to go off the back wall up to the ceiling. Can anyone follow? Swoopin will be there. Gets it over one. Over another. Who's going to follow in? A good bomb. And he gets the goal, Subi. Ben scores in the bottom second. 2 seconds left. Swoopin sets up the play. Bumps out a defender. And Ben is there at the right time.
Nasty bump coming in from Swoopin.
Oh my
And
God.
I love the aggressive positioning there. Under 5 seconds from Ben. And here we go. Important kickoff. That one hits the ground, and Baguette squad up 2-0 in the series.
Oh my God, it's happening.
Hey,
It's happening, Sue.
RCD's going to have to go to Game 5 if they want to win it. And what did I say is going to happen if it goes to Game 5?
You said Baguette's going to win.
I said that's going to win. And right now,
I'm
it
not
is looking
doubting
like
that.
Baguette's
I wasn't doubting that. I'm doubting the fact that we would even be in this position. Like,
I agree.
sure, and people could be like, oh, like, you just have to believe and just pick them. But, like, did anyone in their right mind think that we'd be looking at a 2-0 lead right now for Baguette?
No.
Yeah, like, nobody can
No,
say
no.
they thought that.
What is happening? I mean, welcome to the rival series. You think you know exactly what's going on. And even when I
RCD
say
lose
from
this
the
series-
beginning of the season, expect the unexpected, literally the last week, one of the best teams in the league is facing the worst team in the league, and they're up 2-0. You have got to be kidding me.
If RCD lose this series, they no longer secure first place. It doesn't matter what BDS does. So,
I mean, they
at this point,
right now,
if I'm BDS, I'm just like, cool.
yeah, for real, because this could just a massive weight off of BDS's shoulders because they don't have to win. They don't even have to
Yeah.
show up against Triple Trouble. They can forfeit. Well, actually, I don't know what happened to forfeit, but
I mean,
they
yeah,
literally
they
can
probably
just
will.
show up and put their controllers down and not have to play.
If Baguette wins this series, they go to 9th. And that drops Servette to 10th place. If BDS would clinch first regardless, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm just this is crazy, man. This is wild. I don't know how we got here. I think it's hilarious that if RCD loses, I think that's actual comedy. And F's in the chat, if that's the case. But, oh my goodness. What a time to be alive. Zombo's
Yeah,
gonna carry
I
that
mean-
past the front of his net. Oh, Subi, it's just crazy.
It really is. It really is. And you got to feel right now for RCD Espanyol, but they have no one to blame other than themselves at the moment. Zamway has to stretch for that one. Stake is up as well. Net's open, but somehow Zamway able to get a quick jump and send that ball high.
Swoopin and Rizwell have both played phenomenal defense at the front of the net this entire series. That's 2 demos. And they've slowed this ball down. A missed opportunity for RCD. Not quick enough. That's going to slow down in midfield. Zamway gets a carry, or I should say a handle on that ball and sends it into the backboard. Rizwell knocks it the other way. A very dangerous hit. Tox grabs it up to the ceiling. Rizwell will meet it. Never mind, that's Ben. And back to midfield. As RCD have an opportunity to see if they can capitalize over one. Ben couldn't get a handle, and these individual hits have tried to spread out the players inside the box, the defenders that are stacking, but it hasn't led to anything. No second opportunities, no follow-ups. And right now, Baguette have complete control of the series.
And I have got to just tip my hat to Baguette squad. Their ability to clear the ball right now is the difference. They're reading the field very well outside of that hit right there, but those are going to happen. You're going to have balls that get away from you, but for the most part, they're putting the ball exactly where RCD aren't, and they're able to just continue that ball forward. And while they might not be scoring, they're putting pressure on and not allowing shots from RCD Espanyol.
This is a unbelievably different Baguette squad than we've seen for 8 weeks. And I don't know what changed. Of course, we'll leave that up to speculation. And that's going to be a shot. It's going to be a shot from Tox. It's going to be a goal from RCD. But to finish that thought quickly, I have not seen this type of play from them. But unfortunately, they bite the bullet. That's a good demo in net, and that leads to a good goal for RCD.
Yeah, good team play there. Everybody getting involved. player rotates through, takes the defender out of net, and then the pass right on point. And now, right at halftime, RCD Espanyol takes the lead, and they need to hang on to this one because if you just tuned in, they're down 2-0 in the series, and if they lose this one, they fall out of first place, and there's no chance that they get it back.
Challenge won by RCD. Swoopin pushes it to midfield. Rizwol cannot win it in traffic. It's going to drop down Tox, and RCD will move it forward. They march downfield. Back the other way for Ben. Passes it up for Swoopin. Not enough height on that ball, and that's going to go back to Rizwol, who could handle it, but he's going to fly back in transition. No boost. Does read it perfectly, wins the challenge. A follow-up shot's going to go off the side of the bar. It's going to go back to the corner as RCD all of a sudden getting very, very physical in the blue half. Again with another demo from Tox. And they are looking to slowly come back in this series.
That's how they are going to do it with those demos. Right now, Baguette Squad has no answer to them. They don't know how to react, and Visual just pops this one up in the corner, pass that ball down. Mistake there for the reading. Great redirect from Tox to push that ball forward. 50-50, won by Stake, but there's Visual for the challenge. The shot just a little high, and Baguette Squad still down by 1.
Anything is possible. He's bullying Swoopin inside of his net. Made it a 2-man pinch on the left side. Tox now gonna extend it. One player misses from Baguette. That's gonna be Ben on the side of the wall. Very little boost. Grabs a little bit more. Zamwe cuts it off. Up to Ben. Ben misses the hit. Swoopin has to slow it down to Rizwol. Pass forward. Ben has to go back and grab boost. And now RCD are looking in prime position to close this game 3 out. Dangerous hit to the corner, 15 seconds. Comes a follow-up from Ben. Over 1, no. Swoopin is there as well. Swoopin trying to follow, no boost. Ritual has to knock it up. Hits it forward for Ben.
There it is.
This is an opportunity, and they're going to tie this game with 2 seconds again, Subi.
Oh,
They find a way to score.
look at the pass from Rizwol. So perfect. Gets it away from the defenders, forces the defense to come out of net to try and get to that pass. And Ben with the perfect shot. Kickoff, so ever important. This one going in favor of RCD. The ball's still up. It's going to roll down and hit the ground. Here we go. Spaceman, OT, game number 3. Game on the line for RCD Espanyol.
Ben has answered the call on some of these shots. And that's what they've needed from a third man in this team the entire time, is someone just to step up. State gets it over 1. Rizwol does win the challenge. However, that's going to hang, and Zamwe is going to carry front of the box. Here comes a follow-up shot off the top of the crossbar. No, Ben takes it away. Ben by himself wins it over 1. Stake going to slow it down. Followed in by Rizwol.
Oh, the demo.
That's going to go
It's
off the top of the
there.
ceiling. Oh, and they couldn't get the shot down. The accuracy wasn't there, and Ben has to fly back for boost. Dangerous hit from
That was
Swoopin.
almost
Oh my
on.
God. Comes a follow-up. Swoopin with the hit. Passes it up for Rizwol. Rizwol has to read this perfectly. Doesn't. Ben slows it down. Now you're wondering about a booming hit and flying back. That's exactly what they're going to do now. As Zamwe goes up off the top of the post, and Zamwe gets the double touch. An overtime win for RCD, and they keep the series alive, but it wasn't close.
Tough play there for Rizwol. Get up in between the ball and Zamwe, and that shot on target gets the overtime finisher and keeps RCD's dream of number 1 alive. Yeah, Coop is right.
Whew. Man, what a close game all around. I mean, the second overtime of the series, again, just finding a way to score with 2 seconds. What more can you say? I mean, what really more could you say? It's been pretty nutty. 4 saves for Swoopin, a goal for Ben, and stepping up again, harping on that point. Ben has stepped up when they've needed him, right? Like, they set up a shot, he connects. It's been a question mark for this team about connecting or I should say executing on plays and connecting with shots, whether it's good shot taking or not. They had an interesting third man in the beginning of the season. Now Ben steps in with 2 weeks to go, or I should say last week. And here you go. He's got 2 goals, both at 2 seconds in 2 games. Like, you need that from someone. You like if Swoopin and Rizzo are playing great defense, setting up opportunities, Ben has to be the guy to connect, and he is.
And you look at the shots, 11 from RCD and I believe 4 from Baguette squad. Just an incredible turnaround from RCD, but you have to attribute it all to the demos that were coming out. There were 7, 8, 9, I mean, a lot of demos put on the field from everyone on RCD Espanyol. It wasn't just an individual performance. That was their game plan coming into this game, and that's what won them game number 3. But now that Baguette squad knows what they might throw at them, are they going to change it up? No, the bump's still coming out.
The demo in air from Ben. Stake with a shot and Stake with a goal. A quick goal for RCD puts him up 1-0 in game 4.
The demo comes out, but the pass was already there from Zamwe. A good redirect from Stake to put it on target and keep the power behind the ball. An early lead for RCD Espanyol here in game number 4. That's exactly what they needed.
I think it's also important to remember that if RCD lose this series, again, we're going to talk about just some of the ways that this series could go as Talk takes it out of the box. If RCD lose this series, they will be in 3rd place, which means they will play Endpoint. And the number 2 seed in the rival series, which is Solari, if RCD loses, would play TSM. So a whole lot of storylines, a whole lot of unfortunate scenarios, but regardless, of course, RCD are looking to close the series out and take it to a game 5, which you predicted Baguette would win. Who honestly knows at this point? But off the start, RCD looking like a very different team than games 1 and 2.
Yeah, they've definitely warmed up, and I love the aggression that they've come out with. Cox almost able to get a touch on that one. And they're doing a great job of working Baguette squad from left to right, forcing them to use a lot of boost. And Ben got bumped out of net and sent all the way into the orange half on that play. Finally rotates back post, and Stake keeping the pressure up. RCD, a freight train rolling downhill right now.
Jules slow it down. Zamwe comes in and flies over that one. Ben brings it back to midfield. Tox pushed it out to Stake, who gets it up for Swoopin to handle. Tox will read it off the backboard. Now from the ceiling, gets it over Ben. Zamwe will be there, reel it in. Could not get it over another. A good challenge, but an even better defensive play from Baguette. Baguette with a series lead 2-1, which has been a surprise to every single person in the world. Here comes an opportunity. Swoopin flicks it over one, high enough, but it'll be handled easily by RCD, and now a pinch sends it the other way. And Ben's going to have to play this off the ceiling.
Zamwe rotating through the zone. You saw him looking for a defender. Doesn't get the touch, but that idea is still alive for RCD to just punch Baguette squad in the mouth right now. Good pinch by Ridgeville. Put it back into the corner, but both are sitting there, and that one is going on target. Cox makes the defense pay.
2-0 for RCD. Zamwe with a pass, Tox with the read, right over the defender's head. With 2:37 left, Baguette looking to slow things down. It's been all of RCD off the start, and a challenge won on the face-off. This could be goal 3. Zamwe makes it goal 3, and all of a sudden, RCD have woken up.
I hate those kickoffs. If you're in the position that Ritual's in, it's just so difficult to read. You saw him trying to scramble to get back to the net, but a lost cause in that situation. And RCD, like you said, up by 3 again. And this is going to be a tough one from Baguette squad to climb back from. Good shot there. But I've got a feeling that we're going to be seeing a game number 5 very shortly.
Yeah. Would not surprise me in the slightest. Unfortunate hit to your teammate. Doesn't really lead to anything, and all of a sudden, it kind of seems like we're seeing good old-fashioned Baguette come out. The players are still creating opportunities, but the scoreline slowly getting away from them. They haven't, whether it's been all season or just in a couple of games that we can really highlight, they have never really been able to, when they get ahead, either stay ahead or find a way to slow down momentum. That's been their biggest issue, is creating momentum or redirecting it. And they cannot find a way to slow down RCD as Tox makes it 4-0. And this game is basically all but done with a minute 46 with the way RCD is playing.
Yeah, 100% out of control. There's no way the Baguette squad comes back from this one. So far, they've only had one shot on net by Ben, and that is it. They have had 0 offense, but they haven't been able to break out of their own half because every time they try, they keep getting demoed at midfield.
Well, forget breaking out of your own half. They've lost 4 faceoffs in a row. And that's led to 3 goals. And a bump by Samwe on Risual. She allows Risual to fall back and he'll carry it to midfield. Love to see Baguette possibly chain this into a opportunity for a goal. Because you got to get something on the board, but we're probably looking at a game 5. As Samwe cuts it off. And that's another open net. This should be a goal. It will be 5-0. Game 4 will go to RCD.
And not much to break down on that play other than just a complete overcommit from Baguette squad.
Yep.
And right now, you've got an extra minute to work with if you're Baguette squad. You've got to play on autopilot right now and try and figure out a way that you can take down RCD because they are playing completely different from games 1 and 2. The aggression is the main factor that has really been the difference in games 3 and 4. And I mean, Baguette squad, they look very good, but they were playing at their pace. And right now, RCD has made games 3 and 4 their pace.
Yeah. That's been again, the question was, how are you going to stop RCD? Well, you play at your pace and you completely change the way RCD has to play, but you have to get lucky that they don't wake up to that. All of a sudden, RCD wakes up and now it's, okay, Baguette, what can you do? A great bump, as Ben tried to single-handedly bring a goal to the score, but it was about how can Baguette, if they get pushed to the back of their heels, how can they respond? How can they create momentum when it seems like there's not? They haven't been able to do that all season. They haven't been able to do that in Game 4, and they were blown out at the start of the game. And with a 5-0 win from RCD, we're going to Game 5. And I know you said Baguette will probably take it, but looking at the way that RCD's been playing, I'd be surprised if RCD drops it.
I agree. It's going to be a tough one. This series has changed completely. That one almost on target. And GG's going around from all the players. But an interesting stat, and I am going to go out on a limb, and I'm not going to fact check this, and I'm just going to say this has got to be a record for Game 5s in a single season that one team has gotten to. This is going to be the 7th that RCD has gone to out of 9 games total for the season. Absolutely incredible. And of the 6 that they've been to, they've won all of them. This is their 7th. Can they continue that trend? And that's what we're going to be waiting to find out.
Do you think it says more positive about a team that can always win Game 5 or less about a team that always has to go to Game 5? For me, just from the pure standpoint, I think it says less. Like you can't find a way to not take it the distance, and you're lucky that you're finishing, but at the end of the day, if you play a team that's better than you, like BDS, that either 3-0s or takes you to Game 5, there's no guarantee that that trend's going to continue. I'm worried about RCD, the fact that they've always gone the distance.
Yeah, they could realistically be sitting at 1-7 right now instead of 7-1. I mean, those Game 5s could have gone anyway. Yeah. And I agree with you. I don't think it says more about a team. I think if they've been to 2 and they've won those, okay, we know that they can finish in crunch time. But right now, it's like, why do you keep going to Game 5s? And why are you in a Game 5 right now with Baguette squad? This should have been a 3-0 sweep. You shouldn't have let them been scoring goals. It should have been like the last game we just saw. Game 4, that's the RCD we're used to seeing, and it doesn't matter now. Now, all that matters is we're in Game 5. It's do or die. If Baguette squad wins this, they propel themselves up to 9th place, get an extra grand in the team's pocketbook, and there's no chance at all for RCD to automatically go up to the RLCS.
Right. And remember that if RCD wins today, they need BDS to lose to stay in first place. And that's a lot to ask. BDS does play triple trouble, but that's a game they should win, just like RCD should win this one 10 times out of 10. But we'll see what's actually able to happen. I would love for shakeups to happen because it makes everyone uncomfortable, and I'm all about that. So we'll see what happens. Baguette's able to win it, back to midfield. Visual's going to go off the ceiling, wins the challenge in traffic. It's going to fall down, and they cluster in the corner as everyone's kind of waiting to see who has control. Flicks it over one, Swoop in wins the demo, and Visual takes it away.
And Baguette Squad just gave up the pressure right there. They had all 3 members of RCD Espanyol out of net. 2 were up on the backboard, 1 was in the corner, and if they would have just kept that pressure up, I think they could have scored on that possession.
Visual with a great hit. It's going to go off Tox. Reads it. No. Tox has a little bit of boost to get him around. And a bouncing hit. Doesn't have the angle. Go back to the ceiling. And Zomway carrying. No boost. Can he get the double touch? No. However, they slow it down in the blue half. And Baguette looking very, very aggressive off the start. They do not win that challenge. They've left an open net for Ben to have to deal with. As he tries to reel it in. And back to the corner we go.
You know, I gotta say, selfishly, I hope this ends 0-0 and we go to overtime.
Oh,
How
me
fun
too.
would that
No,
be
I
for a game
100%
tie?
agree. Yep, I 1000% agree. Swooping again, meets it in the corner. Good challenge.
Oh, yikes.
Now, my goodness, that could have been a goal 1 for RCD. As Baguette looked to push this to midfield, but RCD is there, and Stake will be there to push it off the backboard. Did not get a good pinch. Up for Tox, redirects it down, no, off the crossbar and staved away by Rizual. Baguette find a way to stay alive, but they have to find something on the other half. They cannot sit back on defense.
Yeah, they're playing way too passive right now. And double commit at midfield could have spelled disaster, but they keep this ball in the orange half, keep the pressure, and Tox able to get this ball towards midfield, but that's a poor pass from Swoopin'. No one there, and Zamway's just going to bomb this one up over to Ben, and the demo comes out from Zamway. That's what they need to work with if they want to try and win Game 5.
A great hit, a good save from Ben. That's going to be a dangerous shot. Chalk should be there all day, every day. A follow-up from Rizual. You'd like to see them put pressure on now. Slows it down. Ben's there. Can they spike it down? Yes. Saved away by RCD.
Almost tucked that one inside that right-hand post. And good beat there from Swoopin' to get that towards midfield, but Zamway catches it perfectly. The net's
Demo
open.
in front.
Visual with the clutch clear over to the side, keeping his team alive here in game number 5 as we near the final minute of gameplay.
This is going to have to be a big win from Ben. He has to get over Stake. Gets it to midfield. Zamway redirects. That's going to go off the backboard.
Oh
Who's going to follow
boy!
up? Open net for Tox. RCD strike first in game 5.
Oh, there it is. Swooping with a big whiff. Visual sharking that boost pad. It never came up. And an easy shot there from Tox. Over to RCD. How do they keep doing this? How do they keep doing it?
They missed it.
Oh.
They missed the hit. Subi, watch the face-off. They miss a hit. I think it was Swoopin' who misses a wide-open hit. He curves around the ball for some reason. I think he was expecting the hit to go forward or something, but completely whiffs. Nothing tactical about that.
That is something I've talked about all season long. If you're going to send someone to cheat up on the kickoff, they cannot be. Oh! What a shot, and 3-0 in favor of RCD. But just really quick, back to my point, if you're going to cheat up on kickoff, you have to be sure that you're going to make a touch on that. And if you're over-aggressive, that's exactly what's going to happen.
And I'm going to steal a quick quote from our great observer, Stranger. I'm going to say this was the most Baguette way to end a season you possibly could have. 3 goals in 12 seconds. You cheat on one, a crucial goal too, that basically puts this series away. RCD stay alive, keep their hopes of first place alive, but I mean, it's hard to say this was a disappointing finish for Baguette because their season's been disappointing, but there was hope, right? It's game 5. They played it down to the minute. They were playing great. They had an opportunity. They let a goal go through an open net. They give up a absolutely horrible open net, and it's just unfortunate to see them end the series this way.
It really is. It was an exciting matchup. Cox bumping Ridgewell. Good save, but that's a goal for sure. Cox adding his stats for the season. That's the second one here in game 5, his 5th of the series, and he goes up to 35 for the season.
Oh man. Well, sometimes it is what it is. And with 10 seconds left and 4 goals, it's mathematically and physically impossible for them to get all 4 with shots like that. You have to find a way to score. And that's going to do it. RCD, scary as hell, but they make it work. They take it in game 5, 4-0, which was 0-0 up until a minute 15, let's remind you. And 2 goals for Zamwe, 2 for Tox, 7 saves for Rizzuel, only 4 shots together. But man, they had a chance, they had an opportunity. It looked like for a moment we might be seeing a game 5 win from Baguette and one of the craziest upsets of the season, but it was a very Baguette end away. Thank you, Strangest, for that quote. And man, it sucks to see it happen like that, but it is what it is. These teams' personalities are here for a reason. And now they move to 8-1 for RCD, 0-9 for Baguette. So RCD, they win. They basically sit back and hope that BDS loses. If BDS lose, RCD will take first place. If BDS wins, RCD will take third place. So
And
that's it.
games 4 and 5, complete shutout in favor of RCD Espanyol. So, I mean, you got to say, hey, good job. You did exactly what you needed to do.
Yep.
And Baguette squad, only 3 goals in that entire series, and I think 11 from RCD Espanyol. It just goes to show you that
like, it didn't seem like a blowout like that, though. Like, it sounds bad, but these goals came down to the wire. Like, every game except for 4 and 5.
Yeah, I mean, games 1 and 2, RCD completely shut out, and then they do the exact same to Baguette squad in games 4 and 5. So, well done to RCD Espanyol. They keep the dream alive of securing number 1 and automatically going to the RLCS, but they're going to need some help from Triple Trouble later on in the day. But up next, it's do or die. Win and you're in, lose, and you got to go through the play-ins again. It's going to be RJM going up against We Dem Girlz. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome back to the Rocket League Rival Series. It's me, the wrong guy. My name is Tom F. Top Manager. Now I'm joined here by two other of my fantastic friends. It's Supersonic and Stacks. Let's say hello to them. Supersonic, how you doing, man?
Doing all right, man. A little chilly in the room today, but feeling pretty good. Just watched those two matches. Did not expect that RCD Espanyol match to go anywhere near that. So a little surprised about what we just watched. Hopefully we'll get some excitement out of these next two matches.
That's fair. We're 2 into the day so far. We started off everything with Servette Geneva Esports going head-to-head versus Notorious Legion Esport. NLE takes that one away from the 9th place team. Baguette Squad. I came out here saying, no way Baguette Squad even takes a game. Easy sweep, easy peasy, no problem. Obviously, I had to wind up with some egg on my face. Now, RCD Espanyol still won the game, but Baguette Squad stood up, and I'm proud of them. Thank you for proving me wrong. Coming up next, we've got RJM and We Dem Girlz, and we'll end the day with Team BDS vying for #1 position. This next one up, though, is very interesting. A lot of times, these scenarios are really complicated. You've got to win with a certain score and hope that this player wins and this team loses and everything kind of up in the air. Well, Stacks is our resident analyst, a resident genius when it comes to that stuff. But this one's easy. This is a winning in, losing cruise. Ain't that right?
Yeah, that is exactly what this is. There's nothing complicated about this at all. You win, you survive for next season. If you lose, as you said, you go on a cruise. You have to go through the play-ins again to get back into this. And, I think when you look at these two teams, FDOT, they've been kind of average all throughout the season. They probably deserve to be exactly where they are, but I think RJM has looked a little better coming down the stretch.
I've got to agree with that. RJM and We Dem Girlz, 4-4. RJM and We Dem Girlz, 6-7 respectively. A little bit different on the game differential there, 17-16 versus 14-16. But again, these guys are extremely close. I came into this season really wanting to root for Greasy and the boys. I thought that, We Dem Girlz was just an entertaining team in general. Storyline of Greasy coming in, and Ixo and Breezy have been phenomenal standout players. But Rizix, Justice, and Mike Boy have just come out and really performed well. Kind of surprisingly so. Supersonic, what have you noticed about RJM and why they've been as successful as they have?
Well, they do. They have Rizix and Justice. Both those guys can shoot, so they have opportunities in the solo playability that they can get these goals in and get points on the board. They do really in this particular matchup. You just said that they were close. In this particular matchup, they are, but in every single category, they are edged out by RJM. And that's win percentage, goals per games, assists, saves per game is the only one that they don't beat them in. And from what I looked through, going through stats over the weekend, really being first in saves per game or higher in saves per game typically means you're failing in all the other categories. And that's kind of the story here, is that you are not doing well. Though they have their first overall in saves per game for WDG, they are 7th in goals per game, 8th in assists per games, 8th in shooting percentage, and then 5th in shots per game. And I just don't know that that's going to add up enough versus RJM. Those little bits that they beat them in every category, I think is going to be enough to take them down.
Sounds like you're going to be putting your prediction onto RJM then.
Yes, I will be. I will be rolling with RJM through this one.
Excellent. Well said with all the numbers as well. Stacks, man, are you on the Greasy side? You usually side with the vets. Is this where We Dem Girlz separate themselves, or are you going to agree with Super here?
Well, even more numbers to throw at you, right? Let me give you an idea of how close these two teams are before we get into where I think this is going to go, right?
Close.
Yeah, I know. So RJM and We Dem Girlz, respectively, as far as scoring, they're 6th and 7th. As far as shooting percentage, they're 7th and 8th. As far as scoring defense, We Dem Girlz is 3rd, RJM is 4th. They have been neck and neck all throughout the season. You couldn't have scripted it to turn out any better than this. I did say that I think RJM has finished the season slightly stronger than We Dem Girlz has. And while I think you could flip a coin for this matchup, I think RJM does survive here.
I got to agree here. I am RJM all the way. I have been RJM. So week 1 and 2, I was very heavily into We Dem Girlz, like I was saying, and I leaned on all my predictions in that direction, whether or not the stats lined up, because I really believe that Ixo and Breezy have what it takes to become a solid team. And I would like to see We Dem Girlz. I would like to see We Dem Girlz actually win this one and stay in the top 6, because this is a squad that looks like a team with a little bit more time in the gym, they can really coalesce and become something. But that said, everything leading RJM, Rizex, Justice, and Mike Boy could be the real thing. This is going to be close. We'll see who comes out on top. Super and Stacks. Take it away, boys.
All right, Supersonic, it is put up or shut up time for these two teams. Everything that they've gone through over the past, let's face it, over the past year for a lot of these players, all comes down to this right here. 5 games potentially to determine who takes a spot in the top 6, who ends up on the outside looking in.
Yeah, and man, it really is close. I think the only one that we've had be this close was probably, like, stats wise, is probably Omni Nation Stromboli last week.
Yep.
That was a really, really close one as well. But this one might actually be a bit closer. And I'm with you on the side that I think RJM is going to take this one, but it is going to be down to the wire.
We saw Fairy Peak with a performance for the ages just this past weekend. It gave Justice perhaps a target to aim for after a couple of weeks ago he put up 6 in a rival series game. Only player to reach that mark in a single rival series game. This will be a shot from Breezy. Missed by Justice, but Rizex will throw it away downfield, and We Dem Girlz will have to start over. They won't have much time to start over. Justice is up, but Ixo right there on the backboard. Still trouble for We Dem Girlz. Mike Boy back to Justice as RJM keeps the pressure on shot after shot. They don't shoot a particularly high percentage, but they do get plenty of looks on target. Popped away off the backboard. It'll be Breezy. Now Breezy keeps us in the corner, staying with the attack, looking for a bump, but Breezy's ball is going to go well high. And now it should be Justice downfield. RJM does have to be a little bit weary. They have shown a tendency at times to get pushed up too far, get a little too comfortable on the offensive end. They haven't had much chance to be pushed forward here in the early stages, but it is something that We Dem Girlz has taken advantage of in the past against other teams, and certainly could here today.
Yeah, it really does feel like both teams kind of get these looks. You were talking about how they get shots on goal and they create these opportunities. The problem really is kind of the same story that we have time and time again. It's the finish, your ability to finish, your shooting percentage, which is in the bottom third for both of these teams. Or right as I say that, it seems every time we try to call something out, it's like they can feel it. There's a disturbance in the force. Rizek's going to come through, put one into that upper 90, makes it look clean. I'll just stop what I was even saying. I have no point to make anymore.
Yeah, it's not like casters ever have anything important to say anyway, right?
Nah, never.
Rizex, the team's leading scorer, gets on the board first for RJM. Comes in averaging just over 0.75 a game. This will be banged off the backboard, and well, somebody from We Dem Girlz should have been on it. Now finally it is cleared away, but only towards Rizex. Justice will have to rotate all the way back to his own net, and Breezy will have that ball intercepted, but Breezy's right here still. Now Ixo gonna take his time. No panic right now for We Dem Girlz. That shot's gonna be high. Breezy looking for midfield boost. He did not find any, but it doesn't seem to slow them down or hinder them at all. Ixo now pushes to the corner. Kick that out to Breezy. Big drive to tie the game. Set away by Rizex.
Rizek's getting back there just in the nick of time as his teammates had kind of double committed into that corner, left the box open. He comes in on that back post last moment to knock that one away.
Breezy Meister again over towards Ixo. Tough angle to get this back centered. He can't. So Rizex will take his time. He's got Justice over there trying to help him pinch that downfield as well. Now Rizex with Mike Boy flanking to his right, and he does not get the follow-up because Breezy took him out of the play. Now Mike Boy gonna drop one to Rizex as RJM keeps the pressure on. Breezy and Rizex. It'll be Breezy, but only as far as Justice. Breezy having a tough time just above the crossbar. Does keep control, but We Dem Girlz continue to be hemmed in their own zone. Rizex did not get Breezy, and Ixo takes a floating shot and sends it away. Breezy swipes another one off to the corner. It is pressure, pressure, pressure for RJM, but they have not found that all-important insurance goal.
It's pretty crazy too, looking at the boost, the way that it's been going the side of WeDG. You'd expect the speed to be coming out from them a bit more aggression on their side, but this ball has just been stuck in their half, and RJM's managing to keep it stuck over there while making very good use of the boost that they have. 65 to 66% of the mid boost going the way of WeDG, and almost all of their own boost, obviously their corners, going to themselves. It really feels like they should have the boost to break out here. They just need that solid clear.
Rizex has 6 shots. So too does We Dem Girlz. That's how game 1 has gone. And of course, Rizex has the lone tally on the scoreboard, which needs to hold up for just 10 more seconds. Ixo right down the middle. That's saved away by Mike Boyd. This is the chance for We Dem Girlz. Breezy over towards Ixo, intercepted by Mike. No time on the clock. Breezy can only keep it alive for so long, and RJM strikes first.
Yeah, RJM to take that first one down, really the scoreboard doesn't necessarily show it in number of goals, but in a somewhat dominant fashion. You can see that there was 9 saves on the side of We Dem Girlz. They were just stuck in their end, having to block shot after shot after shot. It's just that ability. They couldn't get any good clears going to actually create opportunities for themselves. They just ended up stuck there, even though they were dominating the boost game.
That is the leading scorer in this series, by the way. Of all the players, Rizex has more goals than anyone else. It's expected that he would have the one shot that found the net, but it certainly would not have been there without the efforts of Justice. That was a great pass out from the corner to find Rizex. It was one of quite a few high-quality chances that RJM had, especially in the middle part of the game, that they just dominated.
Yeah, absolutely. And also that shot from Rizex, the stat that I'm noticing that really kind of separates these two teams where they're so close on everything is that the number of assists, the assist percentage is much higher on RJM. They are willing to make those selfless plays, and really is going to be that thing that, got them a point on the board in that last round, and most likely going to be something that we see as kind of a trend throughout these matches. They are always, always, always looking for that pass play.
It is rare to see a player lead a team in both goals and assists. You would figure if he's scoring most of the goals, surely somebody else has more assists. Unless your name is Rizex. He's done it now twice in a row. He did it last season with Vertex. He's done it, at least so far to this point, with RJM. That's going to go up high. And Breezy Meister's shot should be saved by Justice. It is.
He's also second on the team in saves.
Yeah.
Just while you're throwing out those random stats, he's doing it all for him.
Rizex on a team with a better record would probably make a very strong case for MVP, even on this team where they are struggling to maintain their spot in the top 6. It is an MVP worthy season for Rizex. He just doesn't have the numbers in relation to the rest of the league. So then it becomes a question of how do you define most valuable? Is it more most outstanding or value to your team? Certainly very few have had the impact on their team that Rizex has had. Justice has one towards the backboard that's going to be set away. Mike Boy banking one in, and that'll be easily sent away by Breezy. We Dem Girlz haven't had many good looks. This is probably going to be their best of the series, and Greasy Meister could not get the shot down. Ixo couldn't get a second touch. Doesn't matter. Breezy's there for the shot, and Mike Boy ranges over. He'll have a save. This ball will drop right to Justice as he sends it off to the side, but cannot win a challenge at midfield, so Rizex has to drop that off to the corner. Just about everything RJM does has to go through Rizex. He's going to get an assist here as he sets up Mike Boy. What a play.
About to say, a little bit different pacing here as it feels like We Dem Girlz is getting a bit more done as they created some opportunities, forcing some saves out of RJM. But first to strike is going to be RJM, this time at the hands of Mike Boy with that pass. Once again, Rizex always having a hand.
Now Breezy, met by Rizex. Mike Boy just trying to throw another one in, try to bait Breezy into a mistake. Also trying to knock him away from the play. Rizex and Mike Boy have the only 2 goals for RJM in this series. One was enough in game number 1.
Nice attempt there
Breezy.
for the pass from Justice.
Yeah, Breezy got by one, and the shot from Ixo just missed the mark. A rare case where a defender didn't stop the shot. This time, the frame of the goal was needed. Now, Breezy will try again. Mike Boy and Rizex both got there, and Mike Boy will chase this to go even further into the corner, back to the opposite half of the field. We Dem Girlz have to go back to the drawing board as Breezy's stuck on the wall.
Whoa.
He's made a mess of things, and Justice slams it home.
Pretty sure Rizex is looking to finish this one, but that's such a hard angle. He gets a bit of a soft touch. I think he had it regardless, but Justice gets in there to clean it up just to make sure and send it home. Rizex a part of all 3 goals for RJM here across game 1 and 2.
1 goal and 2 assists for Rizex. Been the leader of the squad outside of maybe a series and a half where Justice took over. Mike Boy popping another one out towards Greasy. He's got to find somebody to pass to instead, going to the backboard. That's just not working out. The infield passes have not been there for We Dem Girlz, and the few times that they have got a good pass out to someone running onto a shot, it's still been saved by the defense of RJM. It's got to be frustrating to a certain point here for We Dem Girlz that they have not been able to find pay dirt. Breezy gets knocked into the ball as it was flying towards the net there, and again, WDG denied again.
Mike Boy has just been a powerhouse there on the defensive side, and he has been throughout the season for RJM. He's kind of filling that role. Though he hasn't been the guy getting all the assists, getting the shots, that's really been the side of Rizex and Justice. Mike Boy has been consistent in leading the team on the backside and getting these saves, and he's doing that again here with 4 saves so far in this match.
This is popped up, fortuitous bounce for Greasy, but he put one off the ceiling instead of dropping one down on target. Now Greasy didn't get any power behind this, only 35 seconds remain. As Greasy will have to retreat, does have a full tank of boost, but that ball's going nowhere in particular. And again, the problem remains for We Dem Girlz team play not quite there. Ixo can't get a ball down in front of the net. And again, RJM comes back the other way, killing off more time. Every time We Dem Girlz fail to get a shot on, the task becomes even more difficult. They don't have any time left at all. They need to get downfield and score with maybe a second left to give themselves a chance. It is not going to happen. Good defense yet again as RJM locks it down. Another shutout, and now they're 1 win away from surviving.
Yeah, just one went off in really story there. WDG had opportunities. They had shot opportunities, but none of them really ended up being those assist-style team plays. You're talking about how the team synergy just wasn't there. A lot of shots, majority of them coming from Breezy. I believe he had 7 on that match. So 7 shots from Breezy, And the majority of those not really coming the way of a pass. He was the guy that was pushing the ball down the field at the time and just try to take the opportunity, or a ball got knocked into the air and he tries to take a shot off of it rather than create that pass. 7 shots, and all of them looks at the net with somebody in it. So they've got to do something. They've got to figure out a way to get some passes near the box that forces that defender to come out, but give your player an opportunity to shoot around them. I'd rather see him go for a couple of those. There was a few passes that were kind of high, or shots off of defenders that were kind of high in the air that Breezy could have placed somewhere else, that he took the shot instead. They're going to need to get that team play going if they want to get any traction here against RJM's defense. Mike Boyd's been too solid in the box.
It goes back to the very early seasons of the RLCS. Rosters with Breezy Meister on them pepper the backboard. Eventually something's going to open up. When it doesn't work out, though, you got to go back into the bag of tricks and find something else. Let's see what they do here going into Game 3. It is must win with no margin for error for We Dem Girlz. They need to win 3 games in a row to save their season, save their spot in the rival series for Season 10. Otherwise, RJM will come back for another go-round as this is skied out towards Mike Boy, and you can already see the difference. It is team play on both halves of the field for RJM, where We Dem Girlz is kind of throwing a ball somewhere and hoping a teammate's there. They seldom are.
Yeah, the majority of the time these guys are throwing a ball out there. Rizex or one of these guys, if they're hitting the ball across field, the other guy's already off the ground and chasing that. They're not even letting it touch the floor, and they're getting those quick transitions down the field. And that's not something that we've seen out of WDG yet this series.
Mike Boy gonna have one drop down, and I think he got one last touch to hammer it home. And when you score a goal like this, you just gotta feel like everything's gonna go your way.
He does get one last final touch there as he falls into that corner. It looked like Rizex was going for it, but was going to be just under it. So good thing Mike Boy did make the touch. That could have possibly hit post.
These two teams, they don't give up a ton of goals. A goal like that feels like a pretty cheap one to give up in the grand scheme of things. Greasy trying to score solo over Rizex. He cannot. And Mike Boy didn't get rid of this ball, so it's a chance for We Dem Girlz, and it just pinballs around and ends up with Rizex. Mike Boy, another poor touch, trying to get this out of the zone. Just desperation flick, trying to get one downfield. Now they will get across the center line. And here comes RJM yet again. Oh, that's great by Ixo. Rizex was trying to read him and jump in his way. Ixo very patiently stayed in the net, waited, made the save, and it almost turned into a goal back the other way. Now Breezy Meister looking for Breezy, but Breezy does not take the jump. Instead, Mike Boy to the backboard, set off to the side, and this time We Dem Girlz use a little bit of teamwork to get downfield, but nobody follows down the center. Now over to Ixo, and did not find the target. Justice is there instead. The passing needs to be there for We Dem Girlz. They got 2.5 minutes to sort it out. They need a goal at least. Breezy does not have Ixo in the center of the field. He was taken out of the play. So now off the respawn, Ixo gets dunked on, and Breezy, all he can do is float one out. Ixo couldn't go up for it. Communication breakdown, and Rizex, second touch, throws off the defense. The lead is 2 for RJM.
A lot of these situations too. Nice shot from Rizex. That second effort to get up above that ball and get it down and under the goalie. A lot of these situations have been single man in goal. In Mike Boy's situation, there was only one player left in goal. And again here for Rizex, only one defender to get around as well. They never really have that secondary person, not even to the extent of having somebody on the backboard, anything. There just seems that there's always a one-on-one scenario or 2v1 scenario presented to RJM, and they're capitalizing on them.
It is amusing to some extent. Game 1, 1-0. Game 2, 2-0. And Well, game 3 is 2 and counting. It has been a complete shutout so far. A near perfect sweep. If they can hold on for another 90 seconds. Breezy Meister misses that badly out of the corner. And again, Mike Boy will just throw one away. RJM doesn't need any more offense. They just need to stall out We Dem Girlz. There's nobody there for a pass from Breezy. Again, just punctuating the problems. That double commit as well. And now it's not bad enough that there's no team play. Now it's just hero ball. A lot of my turn offense. Lack of defense. It is a disaster. And Rizex has just slammed the door shut.
Yeah, you can see the panic in the play happening on the WeDG side right now. We Dem Girlz are basically all over the place. 2 double commits in the center of the field. They're back-to-back in a 10-second window. Also forcing the third man who thought he was coming up in that second set. Because of that double commit, ended up with the, we'll call it a 2.5 commit because one guy was on his way back. But basically just complete breakdown in rotation. And when they are getting into these points, you can see all 3 of them staying there and trying to do something just now. 3 of them posted up in the corner. It's desperation play right now from WeDG.
There is something in poker and in esports called the tilting point, and I think we just saw it about a minute and a half ago from We Dem Girlz. Maybe the realization setting in that this has not worked out. Breezy will try to break up the shutout. He cannot. And the final 15 seconds will come off the clock. RJM, I mean, they're barely moving around at this point. I think even you got a couple locked in the corner. Rizex,
Yeah, you got
not even going to bother with a shot. He's going to take a knee on the 1-yard line and call it good. It is all over, and they don't even get one for the road. Rizex, Mike Boy, and Justice, they go 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, and they survive. They will keep their spot next season in the rival series. And for We Dem Girlz, a lengthy offseason of who knows how long to wonder what might have been.
what should have been is a better way of looking at that, of what it should have been. With a lineup like they have, there is no reason that this season should have existed. Ixo, Breezy, and Greasy. I mean, you're bringing in Ixo, played great this season, average of 0.8 goals per game, which is one of the higher ones in the league. Greasy coming in with the experience level that he has, and somebody with as mechanically gifted as Breezy. Really, it tells me that there's just a team synergy breakdown there that they just didn't quite get figured out. There's times where we saw it come to life throughout the season. They did great. They need to figure out how to carry that over all the time. I talk about it all the time of getting in the zone, and whether it's having a player really kind of be that leader for the team, the emotional side of like hyping everybody up, getting everybody going. When a team is clicking and in that zone, this team should be operating at one of the highest levels in the league. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to piece that together this season. Really hope to see them make a comeback and try and get through play-ins, whether they come back as the same 3 or make a swap out to try and find that true synergy is going to be something we'll have to wait to see.
All right, so here's what we know in the standings. Going bottom to top. Baguette Squad, 10. Servette, 9. Vertex, 8. We Dem Girlz will go 7th. We don't know where RJM's going to slot, but we know they will not go any worse than 6th. We also don't know where Triple Trouble and BDS are going to end up. Triple Trouble, they are secure. They can't go any worse than 6th. They can't go any better than 4th. But BDS still has to show up, still has to beat them with a spot in the RLCS on the line. It's coming up next. Our final match of the European Rival Series. BDS and Triple Trouble. It's coming your way after this.
All I wanna do is to put my arms around you and watch these moments fall back into place. All I wanna do is to make you stop and love me. How can I be blue when you catch me in these feelings like oh, oh, oh. you, love you. I do need you. Ooh, I love you. I do need you. Ooh, I love you, love you. I do need you, need you. I do, I love you. I do need you. I love you, love you. I do need you. Ooh, I love you. I do need you.
Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses.
Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start it.
Maybe feeling change, I could be another. All the reasons why we went separate ways. Feeling all alone in your company. Keeping you captive with guilty chains.
We're night and day. Solar eclipses. Too afraid to look. Too scared to miss it. We're night and day. Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses.
Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again.
Tomorrow we build. Depends on the future we want, we can make it as real. Maybe we will go, give up the ego. Making it feel good. Too scared to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go. Tomorrow we build. Depends on the future we want, we can make it as real. Maybe we will go, give up the ego. Making it feel good. Too scared to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go.
Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. We can start again. We can start it.
Welcome back, folks. The Rival Series has one more match this season. Team BDS and Triple Trouble. And it's a big one, too. Stacks broke down some of the nonsense as far as all the placements are concerned just before, but this is the one that matters. Team BDS, if they win, they're number one. And if they don't, Stacks, what happens?
If BDS manages to drop this series, then Espanyol will in fact go number one because they won earlier. They barely won, but they won earlier. They survived Baguette squad. They survived the furious upset bid by Ben and company So yeah, Espanyol would go number 1, BDS would go second, and Solari would take third.
BDS, Clayex, Mark by 8, and Monkey Moon going head-to-head versus Triple Trouble, which is Bluey's team with Rick Grande and Tadpole. BDS. Now, the format. You want to be number 1. Now, normally number 1,
Yes.
number 2, sure. Right. Number 1 is the auto ticket, though. You're automatically up there in the RLCS. That is, if you're number 2 and 3, you have to play against RLCS teams. That's difficult. Not only are they in a different league, which has a different meta, but it's also obviously a jump up in skill theoretically, right? That's why we have the promotion tournament and relegation from the top side down. So Supersonic, when you look at these sorts of things, we know how important number 1 is. Team BDS, do they have what it takes to stay number 1? They were kind of a late surge. What's your feelings?
I definitely feel like they have exactly what they need. We're talking about a team that hasn't seen a game 5 since week 2. And since then, they've only seen a game 4 twice. This is a team that knows how to win. They know how to get things done. Now, if we look at the stats for these two teams, though, going at it, really, if we're looking at just assists and goals per game, Triple Trouble should win this. But once we start looking into the other stats, saves per game, shooting conceded, the other stats, that's where BDS kind of shines. And also, if the team isn't doing well, Monkey Moon will throw you all in the backpack, and he'll drag you through that match. He doesn't care. He'll get it done. He's averaging 1.13 goals per game, which I think might actually be the highest on the EU side of the league. I'm pretty sure he is the number 1 goals per game. So they've got everything they need on that side. The only way that I see BDS really having a complete breakdown is if there's a rotational issues that come up. If Clayex shows up at all in comparison to the rest of his teammates, if he even plays at their level today, there's not a chance Triple Trouble takes this down.
So as we move into predictions, you threw me for a loop. It sounded like you were on the side of Triple Trouble here, but you're going to go Team BDS.
I mean, if we were looking at only goals per game and assists and we didn't count look at any other statistic all day, but there's just not a chance. BDS should take this one down. All the stats are really close stat lines between these two teams again, but that little something extra, that special that you can't put a price on of how to win a game and close them out is something that BDS has that Triple Trouble just hasn't had enough of this season.
Well, Supersonic's going to lean on the intangibilities, the X factor, the je ne sais quoi, if you will, of Team BDS. Triple Trouble, Stacks, you have been their number 1 fan. Talk about the intangible. You have a jersey that you can literally touch and feel. So is Triple Trouble going to do it today?
I know that they're not going to. I know they're not going to lay down here. Like obviously they have some prize money to play for. They can't get into the top 3, but they can't drop out of the top 6, so they are secure. You go back to last season, Baguette squad was in that same situation, and they almost ruined Singularity when they beat them and knocked them out of top 2. It can happen, but I'm looking at this BDS squad that has Monkey Moon, who has led Europe in scoring now 2 seasons in a row, unless Rick Grande overtakes him this season, this match. I gotta take BDS here. I think that they didn't look like they were the best team in the league until they absolutely smoked Espanyol. And after that point, it's tough to go against them. I got BDS going number 1.
I got to agree here as well. Team BDS, after the RCD Espanyol win, have proven that they've got the chutzpah to really take it. So it's 3 across the board, Team BDS. I was wrong before. We'll see if I'm wrong again. Supersonic and Stacks, bring us the action.
How fitting would it be, Supersonic, if Triple Trouble, who at times had trouble showing up for their biggest matches throughout the season, takes this match right here, which has minimal significance for them, a couple $1,000 of prize money, but shows up and ruins everything for BDS.
I don't know. I'm one of those players that I understand the sick satisfaction you can get by taking a win, which creates, sadness on the other side of the field. There is a little bit of this I get to win and I know I'm beating them type of mentalities that happen. So maybe they find some enjoyment in that, but at the end of the day, I just don't know that I could see them taking this one off of BDS, and I don't know that if BDS is going to be any more motivated ever than they are today, knowing that this is the game, and they performed under pressure well the entire season. I feel this is just going to elevate them even more so here in this final series of the season for them.
Yeah, 2 rosters this season in Europe that stayed exactly the same. Baguette Squad and Team BDS, which was formerly ARG. One has performed much better than the other, but it's Tadpole who gets the opening goal here as this one finds its way through. Nobody home, and Triple Trouble strike first.
And that's coming at the breakdown of BDS. I'm not sure who that third man was. I didn't have a good camera angle for it at the time, but somebody came forward before somebody else was able to make it back, and they left a complete open goal opportunity for Tadpole, and he just had to barely tap it. Just needed to line up an easy lob shot. Can't be giving those away for free. Unless you take them back for free. Monkey Moon, as I said, can throw you in the backpack if he needs to and just solo his way through the game. Picks this one up, gets the flip reset, gonna set it right there under the crossbar as it drops down into the middle of the right side of the net.
Nobody has done it more or made it look better than Monkey Moon on a per-game basis. Doesn't have the most overall in the league, but that's because Meloshisu and Carrion have both played 4 more games. Playax will make a save here, denying Tadpole a second tally. And now Rix Ronde just trying to jump one off to the side, slow things down for BDS. And Tadpole has plenty of time to set up on the backboard. Louis and Playax race to the corner. There's no boost to be had there. And now Rix Ronde needs one more touch, and Mark is there to make sure he doesn't get it. Well, this is the pace of play we expected from these 2 teams. They are going to move up and down the field very quickly. If there is any lapse at all in defensive rotations, you are going to pay a hefty price for it. Louis, not the best defensive effort there, but it worked out. He made a great adjustment. It leads to this opportunity, but Rix Ronde does not get that ball down.
One of the interesting things on these 2 teams is their saves per game stat. One of the teams being 5th, the other team being 9th. Goal gonna come from Bluey though, as he pushes one down the field here, coming off the sidewall, down to Tadpole, back into Bluey, and that just rockets it down the field just over the defense. Hard ball to read. Second goal for Triple Trouble, giving them the lead here as we come into the halfway mark. But the interesting stat is that saves per game stat. It is so close in average saves per game between 5th and 9th. 5.06 to be the 5th overall, 5.0 to be 9th, which is Team BDS. So on the EU side in this bottom half, and really across the league as a whole, it is much more about just not allowing the goals and shot opportunities to occur, period. A lot of it comes down to these midfield battles and which team can do that better or only allow one guy through so that they're not getting these 2v1 situations. And it's just kind of a really cool stat for me personally to look at and see how close that is. 0.06 of a save, and Tadpole flips the wrong direction and opens the net up and just gifts this one into Monkey Moon.
Yeah, I think he got a late break on that as well. So Monkey Moon, he adds his second. He's got as many as Triple Trouble here in game 1. That is par for the course for Team BDS. This roster over the past 2 seasons, they have gone as Monkey Moon has gone. It has been, he's had a little more help this time around. It has been a much better team effort. Playax and Mark Baguette have both stepped up significantly. That's why they have a shot at going directly to RLCS 10. But they have to battle their way through Triple Trouble. Monkey Moon getting back and putting on the work in the defensive end as well. Plenty of boost, so he doesn't need to take that corner, but that means somebody from Triple Trouble steals it instead. In fact, they'll get both. Now Rix Ronde up to Tadpole. He's got Bluey down there, but Monkey Moon jumped in his way. Great proactive defense up on the backboard as BDS shuts the door and finally sends this ball out of the zone for at least a moment.
Yeah, Monkey Moon took him about 3 laps there in that corner, but he eventually found that big clear that they were looking for. Marked by 8, going to bring it out of the corner this time himself.
Down to 40 seconds, another opportunity for Tadpole. He pushes that way wide. Bluey gets the midfield boost and gets out because Rick Ronde has plenty to work with. Bluey coming on, Monkey Moon beat him. BDS just a little quicker to the ball in their own defensive end now. 25 seconds left. Up off the ceiling, Clay needs this, he's got it. And nobody left to keep the attack alive except that falls to Bluey. And now he's got a full tank, but he could not drop down like Matane earlier. Now Bluey, 5 seconds left, trying to spoil hopes and dreams for BDS. Looks like we're going to overtime though in game number 1.
And this is where we talk about it, the intangibles, is you got to win a match. You need to take these down. This is the area where I feel BDS is that squad that gets things done. They don't really let pressure get to them in OTs. We'll see if that continues to be a true story here as we get our first OT of this series.
Tadpole has scored 32 goals this season. Rick Ronde 34, Monkey Moon 36. Will one of them end this OT, or will it be somebody else? Tadpole trying to center that ball towards Bluey and Ricks. He could not. And now here comes BDS. Monkey Moon, not a lot of boost, but a lot of space to roam around. Ronde was looking for Tadpole. He didn't have the boost to stay up. Rick Ronde does come up here, and Monkey Moon has another clear over the crossbar. Monkey Moon. That might work out, but Ricks is right there. Again, Rick Ronde looking to end this one. He's been quiet in this game, and he does not make his presence known there either. Bluey now, bouncer, and Monkey Moon gets there to send this opposite corner. Now Tadpole will try, and PlayX has that save. Again, number 1 on the line for BDS. If you're just joining us, RCD Espanyol won their match earlier, so Team BDS has to win this series to take number 1. Triple Trouble trying to spoil their day and give RCD Espanyol the auto bid to the next season as Mark blocks a shot at point-blank range. This will kick out in front, and Monkey Moon is there. Mark is not. He was demoed, so Tadpole will take over. Mark by 8, looking for a teammate, not finding one. And now this should be Bluey. No, to be Tadpole. Ricks is already downfield. Off the back wall, Bluey got it through, and it rolls just wide. This is trouble though off of play. Monkey Moon scrambles over and just gets there in time. Rick Ronde could not put that home on the near side. Triple Trouble have had their chances in OT, but they have not put one through just yet. Now Monkey Moon will come in and drop one down after all that Triple Trouble. Probably should have won this in OT twice, but play hits Monkey Moon, and BDS prevail in game 1.
Monkey Moon being that man to get it done here once again. He is just that consistent of a player. That is the guy you want on your team. 3 goals, 3 saves on 4 shots, batting 75% there. Gotta love it. Seeing that type of play out of Monkey Moon is something we've come to expect throughout the season. And you keep asking, you know, kind of in the back of your mind, is can he keep that going for so many matches? And he does once again. And this matchup has been really something to kind of watch so far in this back and forth. Triple Trouble coming out early, getting goals. They're putting out pressure, which is what we expect out of the second highest goals per game in the league at 2.6. So they should be putting up a ton of goals. They tend to outscore them by 1.1 goals per game, really, over the course of the season versus BDS. But BDS has that something that intangible that we don't have a number on that helps them win matches and they stay in games. And I think Monkey Moon is just that person. I've said that having a player on your team that keeps you in it. I think that he is that secret sauce.
I think they do have a very tangible number. It's 37, the number of goals that Monkey Moon has put in this season, including the 3 in that game there. Now he is just 1 off of the league lead, held by both Carrion and Meloshisu. It seems almost inevitable that he will, in fact, take that. He's going to probably finish with at least 40 when all is said and done. And hopefully for BDS, that'll be the end of Monkey Moon this season. They won't have to go through the promotion tournament.
An interesting tidbit on that is that Solari is the number 1 team in the league for number of goals that they put up per game, and that's going to be Kyrian and Meloshisu. That duo there has been quite the force so far this season, and they locked themselves in. I believe, are they finalized in 3rd at this point?
Solari is locked into number 3. Yes, they will.
Yeah. So
they will end up facing Endpoint in the promotion tournament. The only question is who gets TSM? Who gets to play the number 9 team from the RLCS? Will it be this BDS squad or will it be RCD Espanyol?
Currently, right now, it looks like it's going to be Espanyol.
If BDS plays the way they did in game 1, absolutely marked by 8. Banger off the crossbar, down and in.
Bangs it right into defender number 5, but not even the crossbar was ready for that shot as it just banks it back down and into the net, marked by 8 with the long shot.
2 seasons in a row, as mentioned, that Monkey Moon will have led the league in scoring, by the way. He had an assist there as well. Only had 15 assists last season. This time he's up now, 19. It's still a pretty low number. It's what you would expect, though, from a leading scorer of this magnitude. Monkey Moon, another drive. Bluey should have this, and he does. More importantly, he found Tadpole with that ball, but they can't get downfield as quickly as they'd like. It's intercepted by BDS yet again, and Bluey's whipped that off the side. Now Rick's Ronde. Down through the corner. Tough angle, and he does not get it to go. Marked by 8, hit the crossbar, and it went in. Rick's Ronde hit the post, and it went out. Now Monkey Moon. No boost to work with. Still found Mark, but also found Tadpole. He could chase this. Plays in an awkward spot, but the shot's going to be wide.
Play out off that wall, trying to be that man to kind of open up the start of these series, and it's really something he hasn't been able to find a ton of, but he's going to find this ball as it waterfalls down the backboard and gives him a nice forced-in shot there in that upper 90. I guess you don't got to get the rest of it done. I was about to say, Clayek hasn't necessarily been that all-star player for his team this season, kind of behind in the stats everywhere else. But again, the way the team blends matters much more than the stat line. I'm a stats guy. I like looking at the stats. But clearly, there is a blend here with this particular team, and Clayek is a part of that.
They stayed together after coming oh so close to the promotion tournament last season. That one's going to go off the crossbar, marked by 8, needs a double. No, nobody else to follow up, but everybody's just flailing around like a fish out of water. 2 minutes left. You'd think there were 2 seconds left. There's a lot of panic right now in the defensive end for Triple Trouble as Rick's Ronde sends this away, and very quickly. Back the other way. We're seeing that ball whip around off the walls quite a bit. Saw the way that ball set up for Clayek a moment ago, and you just think, man, if that's what BDS is going to have going for them, just give them number 1 already.
You know, you're just talking about, Triple Trouble kind of getting it going here and the panic that's going on. And it's something that just kind of clicked, and I'm going to have to go back and watch some of their games from earlier in the season. But they're a team that's used to high assists and high goal counts here. Bluey off the back wall, gets a shot off the back wall from Tadpole's pass and just pounds it home. when they don't have these types of shots and these types of plays going, they seem to break down, because really their defense isn't what's winning them games. It's the offense that wins the matches. They're one of the second highest scoring team in the league. When they don't have goals going their way or they're playing from behind, they do feel like they are playing more of a panicked play style, and it happens to them earlier than it does to other teams. We see other teams start to panic at that minute and a half mark. They tend to start seeing some panic around the halfway mark of the game if they don't have a goal in yet.
That was one of their better passes, really, that we've seen all season from Triple Trouble, and PlayX very nonchalantly gets that over to Monkey Moon. It was a chance, though, for Rix Ronde to dive in. He just got there a little too late. Bluey clips PlayX, didn't get the ball. Now Tadpole looking for Rix Ronde, perhaps. There's a demo by Bluey. It's a chance for Triple Trouble, but they cannot get the ball in front. And now this ricochets all the way downfield, and Tadpole has to recover. Now Rix Ronde over to Bluey with 20 seconds left. Rix took it himself. Miscommunication means nobody's home. And Mark by 8 will give BDS a 2-0 series lead.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's done yet, but it's done. This is probably a 2-0 lead. We can definitely see 2 goals in 16 seconds, but they need one right now, right here off this kickoff. And that is not the kickoff you wanted to try and convert for a kickoff goal.
It was a hat trick in game 1 for Monkey Moon, and by virtue of the goal coming off of that challenge at midfield, it's a playmaker in game number 2. Wow, if this were land, he'd be selling popcorn in the lobby after the game. It is all Monkey Moon and all BDS as Mark gets a couple of tallies to lead them to a victory in game 2, and now 5 minutes separates Team BDS from the RLCS.
Yeah, this is it. This is the end of it. This is Triple Trouble needs to show up big here in this match. They need to get a goal early. I think that's the key. If we want to see them in it, if we even want to see it go to OT, that first goal needs to go the way of Triple Trouble. They're not playing well from behind. I really do feel like it kind of clicked there for me in the realization moment in the middle of that match. When you said something about them kind of playing scattered there with a ton of time left on the clock, they cannot get themselves into that type of situation once again, going to 0 goals through the first half. They need to be that team, that second highest goals in the league team, and put some numbers up on the board very early.
Some other positional things to look at as far as the standings are concerned. If BDS goes on to sweep this series, it does matter to all the other teams below as well. BDS, of course, would go number 1, Espanyol 2, Solari 3rd. Notorious Legion would slot into the 4th spot. RJM would go up to number 5, and Triple Trouble would drop all the way down to 6th place. And then, of course, as we've already mentioned, We Dem Girlz, Vertex, Servette, and Baguette Squad would round out that bottom 4. But if Triple Trouble does manage to at least take a game, then they can move up a little bit. Even if they lose the series, they'd go 5th. And of course, if they do manage to come back and do something crazy like, I don't know, win this whole series, they would go number 4. So that's what they have to play for right now. Win the series, they go 4th. Lose 3-1 or 3-2, they go 5th. Get swept, they go number 6. And all the prize money that comes from that.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, and I'm glad that you're here. I appreciate you for being that person that's figuring that all out for me, because I can't keep this is like one of those stats where like I have to have it handwritten out in front of me to see all these opportunities to keep up with. I'm glad that your brain functions that way. Mine does not. So basically, highest possible chance is Triple Trouble taking 4th, and they'd have to reverse sweep at this point. And I don't see that happening. I'd love it in terms of at least getting to see us go to game 5. I don't know that I want to see BDS kind of get taken out here with the season that they've had and how well they've been playing. And as you've said, coming back from last season and just missing out on getting to go to the promotional and getting to see them go number 1 overall this season, I think would be fantastic. I think that's a great storyline, and I'd love to see that one come to fruition and come to an ending. Even though, RCD Espanyol probably doesn't want to see that happen. In the background, I'm kind of rooting for it too.
I love these players, by the way. We did have to get them into a new lobby just to get everybody up and ready to go. And within 5 seconds, they all just like, we're ready. Let's go. All right, it's showtime. They don't want to wait any longer. We don't want to wait any longer as well. So in just about a minute here, we will get Game 3 underway. Again, to reset where we're at right now, Team BDS, 1 win away from securing number 1. They would go straight to the RLCS. What that would mean for everybody else, it would mean in the promotion tournament, Endpoint would get Solari, and TSM would get RCD Espanyol. And I don't think either of those teams, looking at the seasons they had compared to the seasons that the likes of Espanyol and Solari have had, are going to be looking forward to those matchups at all.
I definitely wouldn't be. I mean, especially going in against somebody like, really against either one of them. RCD Espanyol at this point, to me, went to Game 5s a lot against some teams they shouldn't have. I think that there's quite possibly, even though they're going to finish higher, I think that there's more holes in their game. Solari was a very consistent offensive force. You know what you're getting out of Solari in that sense, that they are going to attack you time and time again. They get caught in transitional defense a lot, which is their issue. And if they can do any kind of course correction on that between now and the promotional tournament, that's a team I would not want to play against.
Well, while Espanyol waits to see what their fate is, they'll also be preparing for their matchup in the European Invitational. They go up against the number 17 from the RLCS, oddly enough, in Singularity. Of course, catch that as soon as we are all wrapped up here. Rix Ronde, his shot on. Going to be, well, actually, Blue, we got a piece of it. It was going to get saved. Now this will be Rix Ronde coming in again. He has been very quiet. No goals, no assists. Almost got one there. He will. He didn't score it himself. He got a little help from Monkey Moon.
I mean, Monkey Moon's the guy, right? He's the one putting the ball in the net. Doesn't matter which end of the field. He's going to be the one to do so. And he's going to give a little help to Rixie.
So Rix Ronde finally scores, and we've seen this a few times with this triple trouble team, and even going back to when they were Method. Rix Ronde would be very, very quiet. Then all of a sudden, he would just get tired of watching everybody just kind of flounder around him and say, okay, my turn to take over. And when he does, they become a much different team. He gets a demo there on Monkey Moon. That's the guy you want to take out if you're triple trouble. Now here's Bluey. Gonna try to drop one down to Super Rixie, but he couldn't find him. Now Tadpole trying to get around PlayX. That's gonna kick right out to Bluey. Tadpole got a bump in there as well. Bluey, he's got it flip whenever he wants it. And Mark by 8 swats the ball away. Oh, another chance. This will drop straight down. Rix Ronde waiting on the doorstep, and the lead is 2.
Another one going to come out here into the open. Rick's not going to need any help from the opposition this time. He's just waiting for it to come down, saying, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Knocks that one into the net, and Rick's coming alive here and doing it early is basically what we needed to see from them. Right now, they're going with the game plan, and they're putting points on the board, which is where they feel comfortable, and when they're playing their best is when they get those early leads and they feel like things are clicking. And so far, the offense has been clicking here in game number 3.
What a save by Tadpole. That was a clever shot from Mark by 8, and Tadpole still made the save. Monkey Moon throwing another one downfield. Bear in mind, Triple Trouble started their season up 2-0 over Espanyol, and then they dropped the next 3. How poetic would it be if they came up with a reverse sweep to then give Espanyol the number 1 spot in the league? But nobody's going to get back for this. Rix Ronde could not catch up, and Mark by 8 just sends one soaring back the other way, 95 off the hood of his car.
Absolute banger of a shot, just barely squeaking it over there. And really, on that side where things do happen is when the offense is clicking and they are pushing for triple trouble, is the transitional defense breaks down. they allow on average 2.12 goals per game, where BDS typically only allows 1.5 goals per game. So that's kind of the issue there for Triple Trouble, is they're going to find a third, though. Rix Ronde coming in, and he's going to just beat out the defender and punch that one into the right side of the net.
Super Rixie cannot be stopped. He's got a hat trick in a must-win game for Triple Trouble as they try to prolong the series. And right when you thought maybe BDS was going to reclaim control over the series, oh, what a save by Rix. Follow-up goes in, though. Mark by Yates taking over for BDS.
Yeah, BDS needs to get another one here, get tied back up, and then switch back to their game plan that they've been using so far, which has been working. You don't want to start getting caught in a shootout with Triple Trouble, because that's where they shine. You can see Rix coming alive, and he's already getting it going. If Bluey and Tadpole get it going and we go into a shootout, this one will go the way of Triple Trouble.
First half of this game has indeed been a shootout. It has belonged to Triple Trouble for the moment, but now we'll see what half number 2 holds for us. That's given away, and Rix Ronde stayed there to make the stop, and then Mark took Rix out of the play. That is brilliant, because Rix had a shot lined up.
That was a creative little bump from the underside.
Play X, he has a chance, and Tadpole sends this away, but he was up there with Rix. Could be trouble for Triple Trouble. Rix Ronde got stuck in the mud, and Mark by 8 continues his reign of terror.
All right, tied up, 2 minutes left on the clock here. And now, what happens? Do these teams stay in this shootout mode that we're watching happen, or does BDS start trying to control the pace of this game? I feel that they eventually teeter out if they continue trying to play against Triple Trouble in this manner.
Triple Trouble has burned a lot of boost in the first 3 minutes of this game, but after all that, they still find themselves tied. They cannot put BDS away. A very efficient Team BDS attack led now by Mark by 8, who's looking for his 4th, and Tadpole got there to make sure he didn't get a shot. Monkey Moon has not scored since game 1. But he has 5 assists since then.
That's exactly where I was going, is we were looking for Monkey Moon to be that league leader in goals, but he hasn't been getting it done. At this point, it's much more important to him that they win the series than him winning that, obviously. And he's let Mark by 8 kind of be that carry player and that offensive pressure and force here in this third match.
He picked his spot there, but Rix Ronde was waiting for it. Now Play X. Now Rix Ronde has Tadpole down there, but he couldn't interfere with anyone. Bluey is going to get this back to Tadpole. Play keep away from Monkey Moon, but Mark is the guy you got to worry about, and he's got this touch. Now Bluey is going to burn a lot of boost, and he did get over Clay X, but that means Clay is still downfield, and he could not center for Mark. Mark could get that to Monkey Moon, though, and Mark pushes one through, but it goes wide. Oh, that was a clever attack again. BDS have proven time and again why they are the best and most creative team in the league. But they haven't secured the top spot yet. Rix Ronde barely misses with 8 seconds left. Now Mark back the other way. BDS has a chance to end this in regulation. They will not, and it looks like we're headed to overtime. Bluey's got to get there, and Mark's not going to keep that alive. Can Monkey Moon get there? Yes. Maybe BDS can still do this without overtime, but that will send... Oh! Monkey Moon will try again, and he does! Oh my goodness! Monkey Moon marches BDS to the RLCS!
Monkey Moon ends it in epic fashion. We said he needed one more goal. Does that get it for him? Is the one goal accurate? That's what I have to ask you now, Stacks. Did he just secure it?
That ties him.
Into like 20 seconds into OT and ties for the league leading goals? What a way to do it. Monkey Moon.
Wow.
You're an animal.
I think there were times in that last, it felt like 10 or 15 seconds that the ball was still up at 0. And there were times where it looked like both teams were willing to just, okay, we're going to let this drop, we'll go to overtime. No. Finally, The ball barely kept alive. Monkey Moon got a couple of looks, and that is how it ends. Wow. Could not have written a much better script than that, could we, F-Dot?
Not at all, man. Listen, like Frankie says, fly me to the moon, baby. I mean, this is Monkey Moon. I can hear Subi from NorCal screaming right now. He has been a fan of Monkey Moon from minute one, and this is why. I mean, this is that storybook ending that we look for. TBDS secures their number one spot, which means they're an RLCS team. Great call, by the way, on that one. Stacks, you as well, super. And that's the type of Rocket League that we sign up for here in the Rival Series. Triple Trouble, still up in the air, Stacks, as far as where they land, or are things set in stone now?
They are number 6. Yeah, we are done with the season. We know where everybody is now. It is BDS, Espanyol, Solari in that order. Then Notorious Legion, RJM, Triple Trouble. Then We Dem Girlz, Vertex, Servette, and the Baguette squad.
And those last 4 will find themselves retrying for the Rival Series one more time this upcoming season. So that's it, man. Europe tied a nice little bow on it. Team BDS number 1. Unreal. RCD Espanyol for 6 out of 7 hour weeks. 5 out of 7 hour weeks. Undefeated number 1 team. And then just at the end of it, BDS swoops it away. Supersonic, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the big picture, the macro zoom out storyline here. 1, did you expect RCD Espanyol to be usurped? And 2, did you expect it to be BDS?
Had you asked me midpoint in the season, did I expect them to be usurped? No, I didn't. They were playing well. They always found a way to win the game. They had that something that we didn't, that intangible to close out matches, but they went to game 5s repeatedly. And BDS had 2 game 5s at the start, then went into Notorious, and as soon as they got to Notorious Legion, just one after another. By the time we got into just past the midway of the season, if anybody was going to do it, it was going to be BDS. And that's exactly what we got. I don't know that I would have called BDS at the beginning of the season, just off the way that they opened versus Solari and WDG being both five game series. But man, do they know how to close out a season?
They absolutely do. And now, just to reiterate what Stacks has let down, if you were unfamiliar with the format, number 1 team, Team BDS, congratulations, you're in the RLCS. That's how that works. Number 2 and 3 will face off against some of the RLCS players. And then you've got 4, 5, and 6, which are safe and sound. 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll have to replay the wind up here one more time. Now what we have on our screen right now is the promotion tournament. Double a limb, best of 7, baby. So you know the best teams are getting by. There's no flukes. There's no, we were hot in this one game. Best of 7, and if you lose, you get a secondary shot. So we're going to take a look at the upper bracket. Endpoint will face off against Solari, and TSM will face off against RCD Espanyol. We just heard Super talk about RCD Espanyol and how they go the distance most of the time. Team Solo Mid has struggled in the regular season. If we look at the other matchup there for Solari, Stacks, how in tune have you been in there with the RLCS teams? And what can you say as a little bit of a foreshadowing to that match?
Well, this TSM squad that is going to go up against Espanyol, they're going to have their hands full. I thought TSM was on their way out last season. They came in to the promotion tournament after a season where, at least in the first half of the season, they looked bad. Like they looked atrocious. They picked it up at the end, and then Remco came alive. I mean, Remco effectively saved his career. I don't know if they got relegated last season, if Remco was going to play another season. But he bought himself some time. They had another go-round, and then it didn't work out again. And you know what? Losing a guy like Alpha, that will do that for you. If I'm a TSM fan, I'm shaking. Like, I'm not a fan of how Espanyol ended the season. But again, you're going to see them in the European Invitational coming up in a moment. And they've had a good run there. As far as Endpoint goes, I feel like they're very disappointed in how their season went.
Sure.
I think that they can handle Solari, but that is going to be one really fun match to watch.
It's going to be exciting. These teams are
Yeah.
neck and neck, and that is the distant future. We take 1 week off, and then we're back here for the promotion tournament, giving the teams an ample amount of time to research their opposition since it's a new league. North America
It is.
on the way in just a little bit. Let's take a gander at where the NA boys are going to be playing. NA Rocket League forehead. It's Warriors International versus Monkey Business. Omni Nation will go up against Jacob and 72 Pin Connector. Then we've got Mirage and the winless RBG. And then Karma and Charlotte Phoenix for all the marbles here. If Charlotte Phoenix take it, they are the #1 team. That is going to be an exciting matchup. You know, we've got a nice smooth move, just like Europe, where we have a nice sort of start, palatable beginning, and we ramp up into the action. It's going to be exciting. Super. I asked Stacks about the promotion tournament. I'll ask you about something closer. NA. What are you expecting in just a little bit?
I'm expecting some good matches. I'm interested to watch that final one. Obviously, that's the match to kind of keep your eye on, is that #1 spot. Charlotte Phoenix versus Chaos Esports Club. And Chaos has been a team that can show up and cause some upsets or cause some problems for some teams. We'll see if they can be that squad here. I don't expect them to. Not with somebody like Shadow shooting the way he is this season. That guy's an absolute monster. I'm ready to just watch him become the best version of himself today and hopefully do this one in a epic fashion and just solidify them as they go in to have what I hope to be a great run. This is one of those teams that I want to send off and be ecstatic at the fact that they're going, as much as I'd love to keep them here and commentate them over and over again because they've been a ton of fun. That's a team I want to send off, and I'll be watching and rooting for next season.
Well, that does it, folks. European Rocket League, at least at the rival series level, has concluded. I'd like to give an official shout out to Team BDS. Congratulations. It's been fun commentating you, but you will move up to the RLCS. The promotion tournament looms just a couple of weeks away, and I'm very excited. I joined this team this year, and it's been a blast. Stacks and Subi have absolutely led the charge for the new guys, me, Spaceman, and Supersonic. And on behalf of everybody here, I just want to say thank you for having us and letting us join your community. And thank you for sticking around and watching. Things have changed. No longer in the studio, but the energy and the gameplay still exactly the same. And of course, you guys are still exactly the same. Without you, we'd just be us. So thank you for showing up for Europe, and I hope to see you in just a little bit. Shout outs to everybody in chat. We'll catch you next time.
Stars were dancing in their light, paths that we could never write. Oh, they were dancing way up high. We built these walls so we could find who could prove themselves through the waves of time. We're trying to repent before you sin. It's like giving up before you begin. Stars were dancing in their light, paths that we could never write. Oh, they were dancing way up high. Stars were dancing in their light, the future we will never write. Dirt on our feet was bone dry, it was bone dry. is still